What's up,
All right,
everybody?
we're live. Hello, Dub Nation. What's up, Dub Nation? We're back a little bit late. I had some technical difficulties because I've moved, and we're here with Dean Chambers. Well, welcome, Dean of Positivity, and we're going to have Eric Guilleminault of Eric G of NBA Draft on here pretty soon. But
Awesome.
let's go through the comments real quick and. All right. Do you have anything you wanted to say, Dean?
I think we'll probably get to it all. So,
cool. Yeah. Well, I have a couple things I want to talk about as we slowly get people on here. Mm-hmm. Let's just for kicks throw the background screen back on our good old salary cap table. So we'll do that and then get rid of that once Eric comes on. All right. How's everybody doing? Why don't you look in the comments and interact and let me know what they're talking about.
Happy Juneteenth, absolutely. Great American holiday. Orders Steph, Klay, and Dre, Wiggins and Poole. I like it, Parth.
Splash the like button. Oh,
yes, please.
Oh, I guess, yeah. All right, cool. We do have Eric G in the studio. Eric, hang on a second. Want to get more traction here, so we'll wait about 5 more minutes for that and get everybody on. All right, because we bumped up the concurrence suddenly. That's pretty good. 43 concurrent. Yeah. How many likes is that, Dean?
Oh, let's see. Let me go to.
I organize my screens better here. Oh, there we go.
Looks like right now we have 12 or 13.
All right. So 30-some concurrents. And, okay, I splashed the like button. Sorry, Eric. Hang tight. 33 concurrents. Oh, Eric went away for a little bit.
What's up, DA?
15 likes. Please splash the like button.
Yes, sir.
Good news, I saw the sun today because I moved. I'm in Sunnyvale right now at my parents' house. Thanks to them. Let's just go
down. How's the move, Rich? Nicole, what's up?
Hiring.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you got the – hold on. Okay. So TF is making some predictions. Like Kris Murray. I kind of like Kris Murray too, but we'll get Eric to comment on those guys.
We got the expert, man. Yes, sir.
All right, Parth is here too. So the thing that I wanted to say was, in case you missed it, we got the whole what's his name? Mike Dunleavy. He's kind of like it's funny. Someone in the comments said he's the multiverse Bob Myers. And if you watched The Flash, anybody see the Flash movie recently? I did. I won't spoil it, but I think by now we all know that Bruce Wayne is played by Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton, right? So it's like Mike Dunleavy is another timeline, but he's Bob Myers in that timeline. Because today, when he went to the podium right here on our YouTube channel. This is more behind the scenes, so not the Zoom call that you see here. But Mike sounded just like Bob, except a younger version.
He did, didn't he? Yeah.
He even said that his approach is like measured. So, and Joe loved that word. And so I think we're getting, Bob Myers multiverse version. And my top 5 takeaways from that was that. Go ahead.
Oh no, please. I want to hear the top 5.
My top 5 takeaways are that he loves the roster. He loves the roster the way it is.
That's good. Yeah. Uh-huh.
He wants to keep Jordan Poole through the next 4 years at least. He added those words, at least. Yeah. And obviously with Kuminga, he wants to help him find a way to get more playing time. And so
which could mean one thing or another,
And then, it doesn't sound like he's trading him, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And to reinforce some of that is that he said that they're in good shape. He did a little humble brag. He goes, frankly, we get a lot of calls. So I think, frankly, we get a lot of calls. People value guys on our roster. So I think we're in good shape. And I think also with that, you have to assume that there's confidence in getting Draymond to do an extension or to do an extension with Draymond. And so on Draymond, Joe Lacob, guess what he said about Draymond? The good overwhelms the bad. So I like that. The good overwhelms the bad.
We've known that for years.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remind people of that. But
exactly, remind people of that. And back to the roster thing, I forgot to mention, this is all like one gigantic paragraph on the website. If you just go to their website, you'll see the newest article before the Bob Myers one is right here. The Multiverse Myers. And I have all my 5 takeaways right here. Yeah. And then after that, entire transcript. So part of the other thing of the roster, and I don't think there's going to be any major changes, is because he goes, he used the word connectivity a lot. So like, that's one of the things, he's being asked about, what do you look for in the draft? And he looks for this, that, and the other thing, which everybody does. All the GMs look for those things. And then he mentioned the word connectivities, which is going back to our current roster, is to find that connectivity because the Denver Nuggets, in a separate question, he mentions the Denver Nuggets and he uses the word connected again. So those are good indications that you probably won't see a blockbuster deal. And then also any changes to the roster will be in the margins. All right. So yesterday, the rumors went down. Bradley Beal to Washington for,
Phoenix,
and then reroute the Clippers. This is my guy, Chris Haynes, saying reroute to the Clippers is Chris Paul, right? So now you got Phoenix and LA gunslinging. The Warriors were mentioned in that, but Joe Lacob's fine with that. Mike's fine with that. We want to be mentioned with all the top names out there.
Sure. Yeah.
And so to reroute the Clippers are gunslinging, but who else is gunslinging is the Washington Wizards, because they're hitting that reset button hard. And they know
you have to imagine Kuzma and some other pieces, Porzingis, they're probably being moved too.
Washington is getting so much flack right now on Twitter, but the problem is that if you don't deal Beal now, say that 10 times fast, it's going to be even harder to deal him next season because of all the CBA changes.
Yes, definitely.
And so they've got a gunslinging attitude. So
I'm not sure if they would have been over the second apron. The Wizards
sure. But my point being that it's this like gunslinging attitude, like the NFL kind of. I was talking to my friend Mark, who's the Lakers fan, and we're talking about that. And man, you see so many blockbuster moves because they got to win now, win now. And that got me thinking, man, is there pressure on Mike to kind of mortgage the future, to immediately, bring in some veterans, just like we were talking about, like Dean here mentioned a realistic deal, actually, which was Jordan Poole for Boyan and Alec Burks. So you get 2 veterans back, 2 really dependable veterans.
And we'd have to send out, I think, Patrick Baldwin in that too, salary-wise.
So send out. But then maybe there's some kind of a draft pick thing in there. I don't know, right?
Sure.
But that would be, what if we swapped 19 for 5? You're getting Jordan Poole. He's going to be, you're kind of Detroit kind of hitting the reset button as well and bringing in all these youngsters. Well, Wiseman and Poole pick and roll, that worked we got tape of that. That was working for a little bit. And anyway, I was thinking maybe Mike could be pressured to do something like that. But then today he goes on the podium and has this podium that he had. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. I can go back to the other side of the fence, not worry about any blockbuster ones, because we've been talking about this for the last few live streams is why don't we just play better, run it back, play better. We know Poole can play better and Kuminga can play better. So that's what I wanted to set the table with. I think we're kind of back to running it back with the same guys. All right.
Yeah, definitely. Should we get Mr. Eric G on, Rich?
Yes, sir. Let's get Eric G on. And we'll go through the comments because it's perfect timing to bring him on. Ooh. You got Fast and the Furious going on over there, Dean?
Oh, yeah. PCH every day. Every day.
All right, Eric G. Finally. He's here.
Welcome,
sir. How you doing, Eric?
Hi, guys. How are you guys?
Great.
Oh, yes.
Glad you could be here with us.
Exciting week for us.
Oh, man, for sure. You must be
not enough to talk about, right? Unbelievable.
Right.
I know, right? Let's see. So we brought on Eric G at the 11-minute mark. Let's see. Let's go to the comments real quick because that's always fun to kind of, talk about gunsling and just shoot those comments and get those done. Nicole's been on an emotional roller coaster. Okay. Thanks for bringing this up, Iceman.
Right.
Well, one thing that Joe and Mike, mostly Joe, said on the podium that was in my top 5 takeaways, which I never got to the end of those 5, but one of them is Joe watches First Take in the morning. Mike Dunleavy has moved to and from Milwaukee 4 times because of his dad and his own playing career. And finally, this one related to Iceman's comment. Joe was adamant that every decision they make is collaborative and a we thing rather than tagging a particular guy to a particular person, such as JP is Dunleavy's guy. He was like adamant saying, no, we do it all as a collaborative group. We're one. So it was all of our decision. Anyways, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I imagine that's pretty normal for that to happen in a lot of teams. But I kind of like the idea of not having, ties to one player so that everybody can be objective when they're talking about the entire roster, I kind of prefer that.
So we'll talk about the Draymond extension, yes. And then here we have our first real draft question for Eric. We need a big man who can rebound and block shots. Okay, that's not necessarily draft. Could be done veterans minimum, whatever. Water gun slinging. Let's see. Here we go. Sean Livingston, according to Dalton Johnson of NBC Sports Bay Area, Sean Livingston is also stepping down. He wants to spend more time with his family. Will probably move out of the Bay Area, according to Dalton.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Let's see. What else we got? Jerome and Lambs. Okay. Cool. Happy birthday to Poole.
Yes.
All right. So we can just dive into it with Eric here. What are your thoughts on the 19th pick, Eric?
On the 19th pick?
Say whatever you want. It's just open canvas right here.
So I'm sure you guys have heard the rumors that they could either go forward and draft higher, draft lower, or stay as is. I would say most likely stay as is. However, the guys they may be targeting may be a little lower ranked than at 19, and I could see them possibly going for drafting a little bit further back and maybe getting a second rounder in next year's draft where they're missing a first round pick due to the Iguodala trade. That's a possibility. I know somebody was mentioning about bigs. I definitely think I know offline I've been chatting with you and saying, hey, are they going to go with the young project or are they going to go with the more ready fit guy? It seems I
was thinking more the ready guy.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'd be surprised if they drafted a 19 or 20-year-old unless it's some showstopper type guy. They move up.
Yeah, if they move up, it's going to be, my guess would be for 2 players. It would either be for Lively or it'd either be for the French player Coulibaly, who played with Victor this year.
With Bobby. I didn't even know how to pronounce that. I'm glad we had you on.
Coulibaly. So those would be the 2 most likely if they moved up. It's going to be really hard to get Bilal because he would be, I think you'd have to go draft up to like 7th pick at Indiana for that to happen. I think there's a good shot that Utah may get him at 9. So that's why the only trade partner would be at 7. So I would think it'd be rather difficult for the Warriors to go that high. And Lively, it's probably going to be 10 or 11 pick. So again, you're moving up some. I mean, that's why he canceled the workout with the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the Warriors had some interest in Lively, A, positionally, B, he's a defensive-minded guy that doesn't need to have the ball in his hands. He knows he's a role player.
Mm-hmm.
But neither of those 2 guys, for Warriors fans, because I follow the Warriors closely. I follow the Warriors Twitter sphere closely. They want guys that are in Steph's timeline. Neither guys are more ready in the timeline than somebody like Kuminga is now in his 3rd year. That's why I would say there's only probably 2 players in this draft that would be immediately plug and play, and that would be Scoot, that doesn't really fit positionally, and that would be obviously the 1st overall pick that the Warriors aren't getting no matter what they offer.
Yeah, right. But why would they do that? It sounds like Kuminga is the main piece. Why would they feel like moving off Kuminga for one of these players?
I can't answer that question. I don't know why they would do it, other than maybe Coulibaly a little bit doesn't need the ball quite as much in his hands. Now, he does have the same concerns as Kuminga in terms of the outside shooting.
Right.
He's not a great free throw shooter. He shot okay from 3, but he does cut better than Kuminga, and he probably does rebound better than Kuminga. So those would be the 2 things.
Right.
But he doesn't, in terms of like being ready, he's less ready than Kuminga is in his entering his 3rd year in the year, his 3rd season.
Sure.
Maybe long term. I'm not going to speculate who's better long term. I'm just saying, if you're talking about next year, Kuminga is going to help the Warriors out more than Bilal Coulibaly is, just because he hasn't had the experience or the time. And Coulibaly has gone on a straight shoot great rise in the last 12 months. He wasn't even starting on his U18 team last year. He was behind Rupert and Cissoko positionally. So he's coming off the bench for the French national team. So he's moved up a lot in everybody's ranks. I mean, obviously there's some things that he has that a lot of draft people like. They like that he has a big wingspan, at 7'2". They like that he can play up, so he can probably guard guards, and he can probably in the future guard 4s just because he's 6'4". I mean, that 7'2" wingspan, sorry, at 6'8". So, and they see the potential in terms of the handles. They see the potential in terms of the athleticism. He cuts really well. He plays off other guys really well.
Interesting. And you think he is more likely than I'm sorry, who was the other person that you're saying they were targeting? It was Coulibaly and
Lively. And Lively positionally makes more sense, right? Because he's a big guy. I know there's out there that his wingspan 7'6". I haven't seen anything bigger than 7'3.5", and I have his USA measurements. He could have grown since then. But I've talked to people in the industry, and I say, hey, where did they get this 7'6" measurement? And nobody has told me where the 7'6" came from, other than from maybe Clutch, because that's his agency.
That's with the number. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. 7'3.5" is a really big
it's ridiculous.
Regardless.
Yeah.
he did offensively. There's some concerns. Defensively, people project him really well.
Okay, interesting. But they're definitely looking at more of a defensive size and less offensive skill, you would say, rather than.
I mean, that's what we're
like
speculating.
Yeah,
we don't. I mean, obviously, we don't know
that's
exactly what the Warriors are going to pick.
Right. I didn't mean to say that was from the Dubs themselves, but that's kind of the consensus type projection that's out there.
And they're being more secretive than the last couple of years, right? They stopped reporting their draft prospects coming into town after Lively declined their offer.
Interesting. Yeah.
And when Bob Myers stepped down. So it might have been that Bob Myers was okay with giving that information out, and maybe that's a change that Mike Dunleavy has already conducted, that he doesn't want other teams to know who they even bring in.
I wouldn't have even thought of that, but I think that is kind of telling of a little bit of a shift in mentality maybe from the front office. Yeah. Or maybe it's just
I don't know. I mean, we got to be careful. You got to kind of walk on eggshells. We'll see. We'll kind of know more once the results come out. And next year, if they reduce next summer the list of pre-draft workouts.
So a couple bigs that I would say would be available at 19. There's 3 bigs that would be available. It'd be Leonard Miller of Ignite. It would be Noah Clowney, and it would be TDJ from Indiana. And he had a workout with the Warriors early on. I think that was one of the 3 potential first rounders that they did announce when Bob Myers was still around. One of them was Jet Howard. One of them was TDJ. One of them was Lively. Obviously, Lively didn't make it, but I think those were all 3 the announced guys that at some point showed up or were announced that they were supposed to show up for workouts.
Just so people know, let me try putting on the back screen, and is it going to look okay with the 3 of us? Hold on a second, because I got NBADraft.net. Okay, let me just get rid of Nicole. Sorry, Nicole. All right. So
and when I say TDJ, it's Trayce Jackson-Davis.
TJD then.
TJD, sorry.
TJD.
Yeah, and he's actually the son. If you're a little bit of a older NBAer, he's the son of Dale Davis of the Pacers.
Nice. So. I did not know that. Trayce Jackson-Davis. Okay.
And it looks like that's who you're projecting, or that's where, Leonard Miller. Oh, he's gone up a little bit, I think, right?
I know this is super small. Let me try and.
So,
go ahead.
I think Aran Smith, who makes the mock for the draft, he just changed it up and has Noah Clowney as the pick at 19.
Wow.
Let me refresh. This is old.
That's more of a risk, I would say. Personally, I think they're more likely to go with the older player. Clowney
senior
is less NBA ready than the other 2. I think the most NBA ready, obviously, Davis is 23 years old. He's played a lot. He has a good wingspan. He has good height. The question mark, some people, draft people and scouting people, don't know about can he shoot it from the outside very well. Aran Smith, I know, really believes that he can and that it will be projectable and that he will be able to demonstrate that at the NBA level. He did not demonstrate it at the college level, but he didn't need to in the Big Ten. He averaged a double-double. And like I said, he's not the sexiest pick for Warriors fans, but he would plug and play probably as the third big. Right away.
This is TJD you're talking about?
Yes.
Yes. Interesting.
Okay.
Well, on this channel, we've been talking about how it was kind of difficult in that we had, I think, 7 players who were 25 and younger, and a lot of them were either, two-way contracts or were rookies or sophomores in the league last year. And so I think, 4-year college players tend to, maybe you know why he chose to spend 4 years of college. Sometimes it's just, loving college basketball or school. But it feels like the team is going to try to get more veteran oriented, just from what me and Rich talked about throughout the course of the playoffs, especially.
Yeah, I definitely could see that. I know that the last couple years they've kind of drafted some of the guys that they targeted hasn't reached to them, and they kind of targeted guys either that knew that they weren't going to play right away. Like I think last year's pick there was an understanding, hey, you're going to sit on the bench for most of the season, and that it's we're going to go for somebody that might be a little. Last year, I think they went for somebody that might be a little bit riskier, but had like maybe in the back end a high reward, because there is also that issue with the Kumingas, with the Wisemans, even to a lesser extent with the Pools. They want to play as well. Yeah. So you kind of have to. The Warriors are in a tricky situation. They have veterans that need and want to play a lot, and then they have younger guys that now are in their third, are going to be entering their first contract, post-rookie contract, and they're going to want to play some too. So they have to kind of find that player that that maybe there's playing time for them, and that's why part of the reason we're thinking more on the bigs side of things and somebody that might help right away.
Yeah, I think that definitely makes sense. How likely do you think it is that they keep the pick, though?
I think they'll make a pick just because of salary cap purposes. But would they trade down? Possibly. The salary cap, when you trade down, it's less salary. So that's the other reason why they probably won't trade up. Is if they trade up, it's going to cost them more money. If they get the 7th pick, that's the same reason probably why they got rid of Wiseman was at 2. Those picks get really expensive 3 or 4 years down the road.
I think he was already making 12 or so million.
And Jordan Poole was making 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
because he was a further down the line pick. So that might also factor in their thinking. I'm not saying the Warriors aren't about money, but they're about also having flexibility in the cap so they can get some free agents or add a 15th player on the roster instead of having 14 and two-way guys.
Right.
You get 3 though this year, right?
Yeah, right.
But yes,
you get 3, but the same amount of games total.
Interesting.
Wait a minute. So it's if there's 15, it's 100, right? But now it's divided by 3.
It's either 100 or 90. So
right.
Yeah. So they still can't play more games than that.
Good to know.
But is it now divided by 3?
Yeah.
I believe it's the same. It doesn't matter which player does it. It's just total amount of two-way that gets played can't be more than that amount. So if you want to give it all to one player, I think that's fine. Obviously, if it's 100 games and you only play 82, there's going to be some for some other players.
Right. Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
But don't quote me on that. I'm not a cap guy.
Oh, okay.
No, but
I'm a Jack guy.
It's an interesting thing though, because if you wanted to play them all evenly, you'd think you would get, let's say 90 if you have 14 players in your roster, or 100 if you have 15. You think they would have added more for that other two-way player. But it sounds like from what you're saying that them splitting the same pie now amongst 3 different roster spots potentially.
And the CBA hasn't been rectified yet, so they're still.
That's right.
They're not done with it.
Yeah.
And the big one for us is we don't know about the draft implications because there's supposedly that if you're over the second apron, you get the last pick in the draft several years later. That hasn't been finalized either, but I know it has been talked about.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, that's obviously, going to be a very complex thing if there's multiple teams that are in and out of that second apron area over time, right? Because if there's two teams, how would they decide who pays more?
I would
get
guess
the 30th and 29th, or what?
It would be based on record, I'm guessing then.
Right.
Or they could do the coin flip like they do when it's tied record.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I don't know how it's unclear how many years out. Some people say it's like, I think 7 years out when it's attributed to the team, which doesn't seem to make sense to me because if you're in the second apron and your team's already like on the downside of things, then that's prolonging the team being pretty bad.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, you might have the worst record in the NBA, but you still get the 30th pick if it's too far down the road.
Yeah. So I'm sure there'll be some provision for that in there, I would imagine. But it does seem like the NBA is trying to.
For what?
I don't know. If you've had 3 out of the last 4 years and you were one of the worst teams in the NBA, if what you did 6 years ago won't necessarily continue to make your draft at the bottom, because then you have teams that are screwed for 10 years, basically.
But Dean, man, I know you mean well and you hope other people mean well, but the middle market owners, they wanted this.
No, I've heard that. I've heard that three of the last 4. If you're below the super tax and you have a bad record, it could change. I don't. It was weeks ago, so I don't remember where I read it, but it seemed.
So we'll see.
Like
I said, it's not. But it's being talked about, so it does have draft implications.
Yeah, definitely.
I know there's a few other guys that the Warriors fans wanted to have mentioned. I know Leonard Miller could be a possibility. I know that the Warriors, like both guys that I mentioned, they liked a little bit last year. It could have been possible second-round picks for them. They were both in the draft last year, and they both pulled out. Leonard Miller was with the Ignite. Leonard Miller is, I would say, even though he's a little it's his second, he's a little bit raw as well. And I would say he's probably more raw than Kuminga was his first year with the Warriors. If you want to compare how raw he is, he has a 7'2" wingspan. He's about 6'10". I think the exact measurements on his profile on our site. He can handle it a little bit. He can shoot free throws a little bit. He's a little bit stiff in the hips. But he definitely is a possibility. I would say that he's probably in the conversation right now, or was at some point for the Warriors as a potential pick. He'll probably be available at 19. That's another big. Noah Clowney, like I said, Noah Clowney is if you're looking for another post player that's big, 6'10". I know that Aran's really positive in terms of his potential as a shooter. He did not shoot it well from 3 this year, but he did shoot it at, I'd say, under 30%. But he likes his form. He likes his shot. He thinks that it can progress rapidly. He's pretty athletic, and he's really long as well. He needs to gain, compared to the other two, he needs to gain some weight. He wouldn't play next season. And that's why I put him third, because he's, of those 3, he's probably the further more of an upside pick for a post player.
Yeah, I think it's sounding like if the Warriors are going to pick an upside player, they'd probably do it moving up, right, rather than trying that at the.
I'm not sure, because last year they kind of went for the upside pick.
That's
In
true.
fact,
That's true. But that was the 28th pick, I think, right? So.
And they also had I know they were interested in Peyton Watson last year. That ended up 2 picks later for Denver. And I think part of the reason they didn't pick him was that the draft trade that Denver did with the Thunder to get JaMychal Green, that ended up as a minimum contract with the Warriors, I think was part of the reason they didn't go that direction.
Oh, interesting.
Even though he was still available with their pick. So if you look at what they were kind of looking at last year, they had Baldwin that wasn't going to play, and they knew that Peyton Watson wasn't going to play, but they went with somebody with upside, right? That's what they were looking at a little bit last year. And and neither guys were going to, like Peyton Watson didn't complain sitting on the bench for the Nuggets, and he played pretty well against the Warriors at the end of the season, as I recall. I think he blocked even Steph's shot a couple times in the game when Steph was going for layups. But that was a guy, if you think about it, he underperformed at UCLA but never complained about playing time, was a highly rated high school player, had a big, long wingspan, kind of can play multiple positions, kind of plays like a point forward, but is gonna need time for Denver, or would have needed time for the Warriors.
Yeah, and then back to the upside thing that you mentioned, Dean. I just don't see it happening unless we were in, like I said at the top of this, unless we were in gunslinging mode and we really wanted to do something where you're trading, I don't know, you're involving Poole and maybe Kuminga, and you're getting a draft pick out of it. And then at that point, if somehow we're getting like the number 5 pick, then you got to go for the sure thing, like an Amen Thompson type or a Cam Whitmore type, right, Eric? Like those are guys that can move the needle as a rookie, right?
I don't think Amen or Cam are ready either.
There you go.
Like I said, I think there's two. There's 2 guys for playoff basketball.
Gotcha.
You have to remember that Amen, he played in OTE, right? They don't that's a high school level of play. Now they're really good players, but it's still high school level. He didn't even play college level, and they don't run half-court offenses.
20, is that right?
He is 20.
Yeah.
But he is an uber athlete. That's why he's going high in the draft. But they don't really run half-court sets. So when things get slowed down, and his question marks his jump shot, is he playable? And he's used to having the ball in his hands all the time, which doesn't work with Steph and Klay.
Right.
So he's not really I know that the Warriors really like him as a prospect, but he's not really a fit for the timeline, the Steph, the Draymond, the Klay timeline. So if it was a 2 timelines again, which the Warrior fans seem to hate, then I could see it. But given the team and how things are done, Amen doesn't fit right now.
Yep.
And Cam is the same. Cam is an uber athlete as well. Top. I think he worked out at P3, which has data from even when Wiggins was entering the draft, and he's in the top 1 percentile in terms of athleticism for them.
P3, that's in Santa Barbara, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
And they do sports science data and stuff like that, and he's in their top 1%. So he's an uber athlete as well. Good player. Pretty much only played half a season because of injuries. The first half was kind of slow. Took some time to get in. He's definitely probably a top 5 pick. Probably he could drop to 7. I don't see it further than 7. Could go as high as 4. Unlikely. We have him. We have at 4 that the Thompson twins going to be there, but neither of them really fit the Warriors for next season.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, because I just wanted to bring that up in case anybody's thinking, blockbuster type thing, and Detroit could be a trade partner, because they're looking to the future, and we've done a deal with them, and they're at number 5. So that's why I brought up those two names. But so as far as upside, when we say upside, then we have to really qualify that. It'd be like upside in terms of like a Patrick Baldwin type that's, shunned by other GMs due to his injuries and, might be there later. Do you see any of those types even at 19?
Hard to say who's going to drop. It's possible that Nick Smith Jr. drops. I know that I know that the Warriors reporters like Hood-Schifino. The only way that Hood-Schifino drops is he's had back spasms in his career at Indiana. So if his medical isn't 100% on his back, it's possible that he drops as well. But a point guard of his height and size, unlikely to drop, especially given who's in front of him. I think obviously the Warriors would like to have him. He seems like a Steve Kerr type of player, in a Sean Livingston sort of way. Better shooter, maybe not quite as athletic, not as fast, twitchy, but smart. But yeah, I don't see him dropping that far unless there's some background issue, and the background issue for him, he's a good kid. I've seen him in high school. It would just be that back issue, and then again, and who knows? Like Michael Porter Jr. dropped to 14 because of his back issue. So you never, and he was a top 3 pick if he didn't have a back issue.
Awesome. Good stuff to know, because Hood-Schifino has been mentioned by Tim Kawakami, who has just he has sources here and there. So if he says a name, then you kind of gotta earmark that just in case.
And the same thing with Nick Smith Jr. If he drops, it's because of his knee.
Sure.
He only played part of the season.
I think the Warriors do have a history of going for guys who they thought were good, who might have some medical stuff, and trying to take a kind of high reward, low risk, opportunity for one of those guys. But that being said, of course,
PJ Rollins, anybody
Looney.
else? Looney,
yeah.
So Looney was a hit.
Oh, Sean Livingston in a way, not as a draft pick, obviously, but as a free agent.
Oh well, yeah. Then we got to go tangent. Otto Porter,
Otto Porter. Yeah, exactly.
If Eric, if you happen to know anything about free agents with injury histories, let us know.
All of them have injury histories.
More,
a free agents that have two-way that have played in the NBA but have two-way capabilities, because it seems like that's what the Warriors were looking for last year.
Yes, absolutely.
That played a couple years in the league, or the last 2 years actually, but that aren't going to get a roster spot. That seems like that's the way they went for their two ways the last couple of years.
Yeah, definitely, I can see that. Obviously, Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb,
and what was that? The guy from Florida, Chris, the point guard.
Joza?
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
He played with the Knicks.
Yeah, definitely.
So
while we're on that
Evil Steph
topic, somebody in the comments, I forgot who it was. You can just scroll up. Was mentioning, I assume Ty Jerome and Lamb probably won't be around, and I replied back to saying usually the 15th, 6th, 14th, there you see a lot of turnover there, and we're really splitting hairs here on probably non-impactful guys unless there's tons of injuries. But given that,
I don't know any of that stuff anyway, so
Well, we always see some guy we never heard of get the two-way, right? Man, there's probably just too many names out there for you to even think of. What's a guy that's say, it's going to be still the Warriors are they went after Ty Jerome and Lamb, who had experience already. So it was a little bit different.
Yeah.
Chiozza, when we signed Chiozza, how much experience did he have, Eric? Do you know?
I think there's a rule of like maximum amount of games that they can play. So that's kind of like what qualifies it, in that they didn't get re-signed by their team. They're free agents.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's like 50 games, but I don't know.
Well, you can't be on a two-way after
I just
4 years
mean,
of experience.
What was Chiozza's background when here? He was already pretty experienced. He was in the G
He had
League.
already played with the Knicks.
All right, so let's segue that into like in training camp they bring in some guys, and I was starting to think though, can you refresh us on Lester Quinones and Guy Santos, who seem to be like two guys that Santa Cruz will probably try to retain, if not already.
So Guy I haven't seen since last year, and Quinones was I know initially they thought that they were going to keep him just because of Wiseman, because they were teammates at Memphis. It seems like they liked him. It seems like players, they got him with the NBA team during the playoffs and everything to be on the roster and to know the plays and stuff. So I would guess that he likely comes back with the Warriors. It seems like the Warriors, when they did their last championship run, it was guys that had been with the team other than Porter and the big man that had been on the team for multiple seasons. Even if you count Damian Lee, you count JTA, you count, and I think because the Warriors system is a little more intricate than the basic NBA system, and learning how to read off Steph and Klay and Draymond it helps. And even GP2, it was really his second season. Like he had a little bit of cup of tea at the end of the season previously, and that helped him out with the Warriors.
Right. But what was your kind of your draft scouting report and ceiling for Guy and Lester last year?
Guy, I'll have to defer on that because I don't recall. Quinones, we liked him early on when he was a younger prospect. We didn't think he was going to get drafted last year. But he could shoot the three. He was feisty. He was more of a two guard than a pure point at Memphis. And I think that's some of the things that he probably accumulated with the Warriors this last year.
More point guard skills.
Yeah, more setting up other people.
Yeah, it does seem to be a difficult thing for a lot of players coming in, is being able to read the court and set up their teammates.
And he was always offensive minded at Memphis.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. So. I think one of the most popular names that people are bringing up, maybe just because of the Sacramento series, is Kris Murray.
You read my mind. We were going to go there.
Yeah, let's go, Rich.
Plus, it was in the comments. Someone mentioned it.
Right, that's right. Yeah. What do you think the likelihood of that is, and what type of player would you say he is?
So he's not as good as his brother, although he was doing pretty well early on in the season in terms of shooting. His shooting numbers went down as the season went along. He's a lefty version of him.
Oh,
so that's a little bit different. Yeah. Obviously, they're identical, so same height, not quite as athletic, and not quite as good of a shooter. Early on, I thought that he would be a good fit for the Warriors. Same thing, 4-year player. Don't think he can. He's obviously can't be a small ball 5 for them. And
sorry, why do you say he can't be a small ball 5?
I don't think he's tall enough for it.
Let's see.
And
Okay.
and he didn't have a great block rate in college. Like his athleticism is just not quite as good as his brother. So
okay.
He's probably a 3-4
Mm-hmm.
for them, and the outside shooting is going to be key. He has the same temperament than his brother. So he's a little bit more laid back type of player. He's very coachable. He was more defensive minded than his brother when they played together, but he didn't get the same amount of deflections and blocks and steals. So hence why the difference in why one was a top 10 pick and the other one's not.
Yeah.
No,
that's interesting. And do you think it's possible that he'll be available around that 19th?
Yes. I think it's possible that he'll be available. I definitely think the Warriors would consider him. I don't know if they think he can shoot well enough to be drafted by the Warriors.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Has he actually dropped in your NBA draft board?
I think he's around 23, 24 for us. So he's in the range.
Yeah. Okay. 24. Because I remember he was like maybe 17th or something.
Yeah, and towards as the season progressed, his shooting numbers went gradually lower. So that was part of the reason. And we got feedback from scouts. There's questioning his shooting ability a little bit more.
Okay. So that's, speaking of which,
sibling rivalry. Yeah.
How do you do your draft board? Because is it? I mean, there's got to be different combinations of stuff. So what goes on in there, just generally speaking? Because then you'll talk to scouts and they'll say, "Oh yeah, we're concerned about Kris Murray's shooting," so then he drops a little bit.
Correct.
Yeah.
I would say that the big board and the mock are two different animals. The big board is more like how we look at it.
Right.
And the mock is more what we think teams are actually going to do.
Okay.
And that's why the mock varies a lot more, because we're getting intel in the last 3-4 days. People are trading picks and whatnot. So that will vary a little bit more based on the intel we get.
Right.
Okay.
Did I answer the question?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And do you talk to like agents and stuff too? So there's scouts.
So, and you have to remember that my role primarily is I don't do the mock, I don't do the big board. I do scouting reports, and I interact obviously a lot with the guy that does the mock, which is the CEO of the company, which is Aran Smith. So he does more of it. Yes, at high school events, I'll see a lot of these same agents or grassroots people, and there's conversations constantly happening this time of year or NBA scouts will be there as well. So we interact with all of them, but like I said, since I don't make the mock, other than when I'm at these events, I'm not talking very much to these scouts. Now, this time of year, there's so many events. I'm pretty much busy every weekend going to various events, whether it's EYBL, Pangos, Under Armour, Section 7, whatever it is. There's things going on every weekend, and it's either college, and when the college is not a live period, then it's the NBA guys. So it kind of flip-flops a lot.
All right. Do you have anything, Dean? Because I do want to go over a couple more guys that have been mentioned here and there.
Well, I guess I'm just interested in, like, is there a particular skill when you're writing up the scouting reports and whatever that makes you feel more confident about a player than anything else, or a personality trait or anything like that?
Me personally, or I mean, obviously, there's been some studies that if you look at like wingspans, that seems like if you look at wingspans, it's a pretty good big indication of some results for NBA players and how they perform. That's been a recent trend. If you look at OKC, they tend to go for guys with bigger wingspans. You just notice that. And especially if it's +5 of their height. So let's say a guy is 6'6". If his wingspan's 5 inches taller than 6'6", the trend has been that's a good like data thing to look at.
Right.
Now, that would exclude some really good players too, right? Especially on the point guard side of things.
Right.
But if you're looking at what's the trend, that's one of the trends going out there right now is looking at the analytic size of the metrics, the wingspans, looking at their high school, how they've improved in terms of high school and their shooting percentages as well. But wingspan, athleticism, and shooting, if you got all three, you're pretty much going to be a well-viewed prospect.
Right.
If somebody has a 7'2" wingspan, has a 40-inch vert, and can shoot threes, and the shot looks like, and shooting at a good percentage, let's say 40% from three, 85, 90% from the free throw line, you're going to be a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep, definitely.
So.
All right. So some names. Nicole, I think we talked about Leonard Miller at the 32-minute mark.
Yes.
So check that one out. Some other names that I've seen at 19. We can just kind of go down the list, and you don't have to go into detail. Just kind of say a couple words about them, I guess. Let's see. I've seen. Well, let's talk about some wings, right? We haven't really gone into that. Eric and I have talked about how do you pronounce it? Rayan Rupert.
Rayan Rupert. Yeah.
Rayan.
Yep.
Yeah. So 6'6", shooting guard, small forward out of France. So played with Wemby.
No, he did not. Well, he did. Nope. No, he did not play with Wemby. He was in New Zealand.
Okay. Played at New Zealand. My fault. From France, played at New Zealand. All right, so we have him. Anybody else we talked about a while back, Eric? Ben Sheppard has been mentioned.
Well, Ben Sheppard has been turning down a lot of teams for workouts, including the Warriors.
Yeah.
There is a rumor that he has a first-round promise. We're not uncertain of it. He's at the last pick in the first round for him. He's helped himself a lot at the combine. So that might be a surprise pick. I think for most people, he's a little bit, since he's out of Belmont, he's an unfamiliar name. If he ends up a first round, if he does end up in the first round, I think some casual fans might be a little surprised. The people that are really into the draft probably have heard his name a lot more since the combine, so they might not be as surprised. So that's one. I know that there's been a blog too that projected. I'll go to Rupert first. Rupert was in our top 10 for a long time.
Wow!
And he is dropped towards the end of the first round. He did not. He has good measurables in terms of wingspan, but his athleticism wasn't there. He did not. I think his vert was like 27 inches, so it was nothing spectacular. He can play some defense, but he's still very skinny. He did play in the finals of the Australian League, and he did start. He didn't play a lot of minutes, but he started every game for that team. That's part of the Next Gen program. So he did get some experience. He didn't just sit the bench, but he did not shoot the ball well. He's a streaky shooter at this point. He does have a nice little crossover, but because he lacks a little bit of athleticism, sometimes the opponents can catch up to him a bit after he passes them on the crossover, and his shot has been inconsistent. So he needs to work on the consistency of his jump shot. So that's why he's fallen some.
Okay. If you could just, you could be really brief on these guys. Sidy Cissoko, and then Podziemski.
So Cissoko was the top player last year for that French team with Rupert and Coulibaly. He was their best player, hands down. Coulibaly has obviously surpassed him, and even Rupert is mocked to go higher than him. He's 6'7". He has good passing ability. His athleticism, like, vertically is good, laterally not so good. He's probably a 2-3 more than a 1-2. He's played with the Ignite this year. The big question mark for him is his jump shot. And you obviously, players this age, a lot of them, their question mark is the jump shot. Some people like him, but overall, I'd say that scouts he would have definitely been a first rounder this time last year, and he's a borderline first rounder, second rounder this season. So some scouts have soured on him a little bit. It seems like we're a little tougher on the Ignite players overall anyway the last few years. So that might just be because he's played in a non-college and he's not an international player. But it does, even though we mark him as international, but a G League player. But it seems that is the case. Like I said, the concern for him is, he has some switchability because he's a little bit stronger, but can he shoot and can he stay in front of guys are the two question marks.
Right. Next one, Podziemski.
So he went from barely playing for Illinois to just being all world for Santa Clara. He can really shoot the ball, It's a little funky shot, but it has really high arc. He's strong, 6'4". Is he a true point guard? No, he's a combo guard. Has sneaky athleticism. He's borderline first round, second round pick. I know obviously the Bay likes him because he went to Santa Clara last year. He's one of the top risers in the year, having to transfer from a Big Ten school to go to the WCC and just dominate. I think he was co-player of the year in the WCC. That again, the question mark is going to be, can he stay in front of anybody defensively? He has some toughness to him, and he doesn't mind being physical. And with the fact that he's not that fast, can he get off his shot the way he did in college? So those are his question marks.
Right. Yeah, it is interesting, how much quicker it seems that even good shooters in college have to get their shots off in the NBA. It's probably something we don't talk about enough, actually, when looking at young guys.
All right, and got a couple more names here. Jordan Hawkins, and then in the comments, Nikola Djuricic.
Someone was also asking about Jamie.
I'll answer Nikola first. He pulled out of the draft, so he's not eligible for this year. So I'll talk to him about him next year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That was easy.
So that one was easy. And then who was the first one?
Jordan Hawkins.
Jordan Hawkins probably is not going to make it to the Warriors at 19. Obviously, 18. National champ, good shooter.
Mm-hmm.
some people, he can go as high as 11 and probably as low as 18. I'm sure the Warriors would consider him if he dropped to 19. He's not exactly a positional fit, but he has played a couple years in college. He's a little more seasoned. He has experience. Possibly could take the role that if DD leaves in terms of playing time, or part of that playing time, depending on what they do with Moody. So.
All right, and then we got a new one from Nicole. Actually, someone else mentioned this. I don't know these guys though. So is it Jaime Jaquez?
Oh, Jaime Jaquez for UCLA.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that the Warriors beat writers talked about him as well. 4-year guy. Obviously, he's been through some things. I think 19's a little high for him. If they traded down to like 24 to 25, maybe. That might be a possibility for them. I think he's only 6'8", so he's more of a 3-4 again. Is he going to play if they keep Kuminga? Is he going to play over Kuminga? He's more experienced. He might be more of a Steve Kerr type of guy. He plays hard defense. He has a nose for the ball. There are people that like Jaquez a lot as a role player, and that's what he is. He's a role player. And at 19, you're probably, if you're not going for the high upside pick, you're getting a role player.
Right.
So
Right.
It wouldn't be a terrible fit for the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
It would not, in terms of just doing your job and playing hard and having some experience and winning at the highest level that at the NCAA level. He's part of the reason UCLA became good again.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
This is some great stuff. How do you have all this like memorized, Eric? Like this is amazing. Walking in, well, we get Dean always thrown out.
Oh no,
like he's the walking Encyclopedia Britannica, but you're it's great though. How do you do that?
I think it's just spending a lot of time on the site, just working on it. That's all. And loving it, and like you guys, loving basketball. That's all it is.
Yes, sir.
How much footage of each guy do you actually watch?
Do I personally? It depends on the player.
Yeah.
It depends on the conference. It depends on the player. Obviously, the guys that make it deep in the NCAA tournament, that are on good teams, that are on Power 5 teams, I see a lot, right? Because they're on TV a lot. I focus a lot on the international guys too. So I have a little bit of advantage of at their younger age, the international guys. I don't see them so much once they play at the pro level. So for example, I saw Rupert a lot for the national team in France. I didn't watch him so much in New Zealand. I watched him a little bit more when he made the playoffs in New Zealand. But that's an example of a guy like I missed a chunk of the regular season for him. So, and I'm not the only international scout on NBADraft.net anyway. So we kind of divvy it up. So.
Yeah, that's super interesting. So like, we'll close it up pretty soon, but we just watched Jokic dominate and win himself a trophy finally.
Yeah.
You being an international guy, first of all, do you want to say anything about Jokic or international players in general? But then also, I was wondering if you have a guy that you remember from way back that's kind of like, your version of Jokic. Maybe it's Jokic.
Well, I always like the French guys, just because I'm half French. So
yeah, French name, yeah.
Cool. So I always I've always liked the French players. This is a big draft, right? It's the year of the French players. There might be 4 that get drafted in the first round. So I'm excited for that.
So,
and obviously it's going to be the first time the first overall pick is French.
yeah.
So that's how I look at it as this year being the year of the French player.
So you think? Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna make a joke. It was just, you think Victor's gonna go number 1, huh?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Me too.
I think that's an easy one.
Yeah.
If I can
agree.
gamble, I'm guessing the odds aren't very good that he's not getting drafted number 1.
Yeah, it's probably like minus 10,000 or something like that.
Get your DraftKings ready.
Yeah, really.
So
Parlay that
basically,
the number 1 pick, Victor.
yeah,
Yes. Breaking news.
that means spend $10,000 to win $2, right?
I think it's to win 100. Yeah.
Win 100. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. And do you remember anybody from the past, Eric, even beyond Rupert, that you scouted? That was like very under the radar, but you got to see really early on.
Oh, okay. One that was really under the radar, but I'm not sure that I saw it, that he was going to be that good either, was Clint Capela.
Oh,
I saw him at Adidas Nations, and Andrew Drummond was there, and that was the big dog for that high school event. And he was the guy that I would say, like, and it's interesting. He had the same agent that now has Victor and Rupert and Coulibaly. They're all the same agent. I don't know if Clint still has that agent, but it was that agent that had him at the time. And he's not French, he's Swiss, but he played in the French league. But that would be the one guy I would say that surprised me.
so you got like a FIBA account. You're checking out the FIBA streams.
Yeah.
How does that work?
U19's this weekend.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
the World Cup U19s, if you want to see the guys that will get drafted next year, including Team USA has some guys. It'll be on. There's a YouTube FIBA account. You can watch them play if you want to. If you're missing out on basketball and the draft's over for you, I don't think summer league starts right away. You can this weekend. That will be on FIBA on the YouTube. You can just look up the FIBA channel, and there'll be games from teams all around the world. Players that will be drafted next year, probably too.
Very
Nice.
cool.
And pronounce your last name, Eric.
Gill, like a gill of a fish. Minnow. So Guilleminault.
Guilleminault.
Yeah.
All right. Man, thanks. I appreciate you spending all this time pretty much going through your personal database of draft picks. And it's cool because, I mean, you're based in the Bay. Is that right?
So I grew up in the Bay. I grew up in San Francisco. NBADraft.net is headquartered in the Bay in San Francisco. I live in Arizona now. There's a lot of grassroots things that happen here, so it kind of helps me out to go to those high school events here. So
Interesting.
yeah. And I am a Warriors fan, so that's why I see a lot of the Warriors stuff, and that's why I look at the Warriors Twitter. I want them to do well.
Let's go.
Nice. Oh, so we got to put you on the spot then. Okay, I got a gun to your head. You got to pick the 19th pick. Who is it? Just
who do I think it's going to be, or who do I want it to be?
Who would you pick?
Both.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to assume I'm going to go off my mock, Aaron's mock, and that all the guys before 18 and up are not available.
All right, hold on. Let me share the screen.
Yes.
It's the NBADraft.net. By the way, I should say, you guys have been doing this, or Aaron has been doing this for how long? And then you jumped on board when?
He's been doing it since 2000, and I've been off and on since 2006, I think.
Whoa.
But off and on, I haven't done it all the time. I originally started because he wanted to interview Yohan Petro, if you remember him, for the Seattle Supersonics. And he was French, and he needed a French translator. So that's how I played college basketball. So he was like, hey, I need somebody. So that's how it started out. I personally like, man, you're putting me on the spot.
Hold on. While you think about that, wait. You said you played college?
Correct. Division II in junior college.
Still though, man, because I used to run basketball leagues in the Bay, just recreational. And there's a huge difference from the best amateur player that never played beyond high school and someone who played college, even if it's Division II. Where'd you play at?
I played at College of Alameda Junior College, and I played at College of Notre Dame Belmont in Belmont, California, which was Division II at the time and is now an NAIA school. So those are the two programs that I played with. I would personally draft, and it's not positionally, I would go for upside.
Of course.
And I mean, if it's positionally, probably I think they're going to draft Trayce Jackson-Davis. That's who I think they're going to draft. But that's my opinion, and I think that's what I sense. But I would go more for an upside pick. And we didn't discuss Jett Howard. Howard did show up. Was one of the invitees from the Warriors. He is a shooter. He is a scorer. He's not the most athletic guy. But that wouldn't be my pick.
He's at.
I like Bryce. I like Bryce Sensabaugh. Memphis. I think he gets drafted by Memphis at 25.
Where is he? There it is.
Ohio State. So he hasn't played. He hasn't gotten to too many workouts because he had an injury. So he just started working out now. He's not. He has not the typical basketball body, but if you look at his shooting numbers, his data analytics are really good. So that's one. That would probably be my guy. I'm never going to say no to the French guy, Rayan Rupert, but I think that's too far away for the Warriors, so that's why it wouldn't be my pick. Maxwell Lewis is the other dark horse for the Warriors. That would be my second. If Bryce Sensabaugh wasn't there, and for whatever reason, Maxwell Lewis might be the second one. He's a little bit older. He played for Pepperdine. He's not the most efficient, but he's 6'7".
I don't even see him on here. So he's on here. Oh, there he is. Oh,
he's number 24 to Sacramento.
Okay.
He's probably going to be
a newer one. Okay. Go ahead. Maxwell Lewis.
Yeah, that would be my just going through Maxwell Lewis. His first year wasn't very good. This year he started off really well. He's a wing. I think the Warriors going for a wing would be smart. Just because the wings, it seems like we're missing two-way wings. That the Warriors in the past, the Warriors had a lot of two-way wings, and it seems like they only have one two-way wing left, and that's Andrew Wiggins. So now that Iguodala is probably retiring, even if he isn't, not sure he brings that much offensively. Klay, offensively, he's great. Defensively, he's no longer a two-way wing. I think, yes, we're missing tall guys, but wings that can play taller or are athletically, and that's why I'm still a Kuminga fan. I don't think the Warriors should get rid of Kuminga because I don't think he had an offseason last year. And I know there's a lot of this is his first offseason. If you think about it, he had a championship, so he started late. Then he got injured and went to Congo. So he went to Congo, played in that, and that wasn't a good competition. It's not like playing in the European competition. It was a little bit lower level competition. He came back for summer league.
We watched those games.
Yes,
we
covered them,
and it was hard to watch. Really hard.
And wasn't very healthy. And then they started the season early and went to Japan. So he had no off season. This is going to be his first off season. I expect Kuminga to be a lot better next season than this season. So if they do trade him, which is a possibility, it sounds like, just know that I expect him to be a lot better in year 3 than he was in year 2. And I would say the last 20 games, he seemed to understand the NBA a lot better, even though his skill set didn't improve too much from year 1. I expect the skill set to improve and his knowledge of how to navigate the spacing and everything with the NBA to be better. But in fairness to Kerr on why he didn't play him, he's got to rebound, period. Until he rebounds, he's not going to play for Kerr.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that Kerr is strict in the beginning, so that these guys don't develop bad habits and stuff. So we've been saying that we think that's probably, why he's been so strict with Moody and Kuminga. And probably whoever, if we make a draft pick, whoever comes in, I imagine will be the same.
But you're in a situation now where agents don't want their draft picks going to the Warriors, getting drafted by the Warriors again. Because of the minute restrictions of not getting them to develop on the court, and also what happened between Draymond and Poole. We can't forget that. So I know I'm not going to name the name of players, but I know 4 or 5 guys that I was told, they wanted them to come in. We said no.
Yeah.
And it might be playing time issues, or it might be, and also maybe draft position. The fact that they didn't have a second round pick might have been part of the factors too of some of those people, some of those agents telling me, I'm not bringing them in.
Right.
But it's now the case that being drafted by Golden State is not as desirable as it once was.
Yeah.
Both because of Kerr and because of the playing and because the vets situation where the playing time's already allocated to 3 players, 4 players, pretty much.
Right. And there's a lot of veteran depth too, in some ways, I guess, on the roster that they'd have to.
That's going to be the tricky thing for them to also sign good minimum contract guys.
Yeah.
Where's the incentive? Where's the playing time? If I sign a minimum contract to get the next big contract, and I think that's the Warrior fans have to understand the reality of the salary cap, understand the reality of the situation with an older roster, and be patient that understand the situation where maybe the front office can't get these guys in for a reason.
Yep.
Although I would say the strength in numbers thing means that you're probably more likely to be utilized, as an important piece than maybe some other organizations, right? Or would you disagree with that?
Well, how many players played for Steve Kerr during the playoffs? What was the rotation? 7?
7, 8, yeah. I guess so.
Yeah.
That's 8.
So,
but then you could talk about 2022, where we had 10 guys in the rotation as well.
Yeah. But also Klay was coming back from an injury, right?
Well, I meant in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I'm saying they were still monitoring his minutes. So he wasn't playing probably quite as many minutes as he was.
I see. Right.
In 23.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So.
Bottom line, though, I mean that's actually pretty big. You heard it here first. Eric G. 4 or 5 guys who the Warriors wanted to work out, and their agents said no. It's just I look at it as
we know of one, right?
What?
We know of one. It's already been reported one. Lively was one of those
Right.
three or four. Well, I'll say 3 or 4. Lively was one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, but I look at it as, well, I mean, the other side of the coin is like, well, hey, I mean, you got Steph, Klay, and Draymond. I mean, you won 4 titles in 8 years. I mean, that's you can't have everything. So something's got to give.
Yeah, and that, I mean, as a Warriors fan, never seen them win one. Just having one championship was enough for me as a fan. I never thought the Warriors fan would, as a Warriors fan, that they would even win one championship. So 4.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
My favorite Warriors of all time. The favorite team is Run TMC.
Yeah.
That's when I was a kid. That's the team that I grew up. That's the team that I grew up watching. So that's my team.
Yeah.
Now, my favorite player was Chris Mullin. When Klay took those free throws shots during in 2019 with a torn ACL and didn't want to come out, I was like, all right, Klay, you can be number one. My favorite Warrior of all time now is Klay.
Ran back on
even
defense,
though it's a different generation. I was like, all right, Klay, Chris Mullin, I got to put you number 2 now.
Yeah. Steph can be number 3. He's fine with that.
Well, no, Steph's better than all of them.
No, I got you.
That's just my favorite player. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no, Klay I think is, I mean, I'm hard pressed to name anyone that I like more than Klay ever on any team. Dude's a living legend for sure. And so is Mully, man. I love listening to Mully. In the post, that dude's brilliant, man.
I love that we get to see Mully on the NBC Sports Bay Area broadcasts.
Yes,
because he's really good at what he does, like just calming people down and letting them know this is how it is and stuff like that. Like Festus Ezeli does a good job of that too, and so does Bonte. But Chris Mullin is like super good at that because he's done everything. He was GM.
He was a legend of the game, and he's got that great New York accent too.
Yeah, that too.
You just have to go. Oh, okay, all right. I'll listen to what you have to say, Mo.
All right. Well, I don't want to take up any more of Eric's time, but we'd love to have you on Thursday just to pop in, maybe when the Warriors make the pick, unless you're doing something.
It's going to be hard for me Thursday. I can probably Friday, or I can definitely shoot you a message, but it's going to be hard because I gotta help the site out that day a lot. So.
Oh right, man, you guys are gonna. How do you even keep the site up in terms of like all the hits you're gonna get?
You'll have to ask Aaron that question.
It's not, but man, NBADraft.net since 2000. Like,
yes,
you guys are just, I don't know. People don't realize that you guys have just been doing this for 2 decades. People don't realize that. So I hope you guys get more notoriety out there. I mean, I think you do already. But thank you for coming on because
thank you so much.
This is just a wealth of information. I don't think we've ever had this much information on any live stream in the past. So this is great stuff. And so, I'll probably hit you up and let us know what you think because then I'll be on the live stream and I'll go, Eric G thinks this of our pick. So
all right.
It's going to be exciting. So I appreciate it, man.
It was great to meet you, sir. Thank you so
great
much
to meet
for coming
you.
on.
All right,
Bye. Eric. Take care. Man, that was like so much.
He's great, man.
So much information that I didn't want to just hold on to him too much longer because he's been on here for like more than an hour.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can answer any question. Jasmine, I see your question. Let's go up to Nicole. Anything else we missed above Nicole?
Well, Parth was talking about Kevin Love.
Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Right. Kevin Love.
Which,
hey, if he wants to come here on a vet min, why not, man?
I love it. He's already on a vet min, I think, or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Or something.
No,
the team that he's on did just make the finals though. So
and he played well too.
He did play very well. In fact, they probably should have played him a little bit more if he was healthy to do so. But hey, get Klay on the phone with him. You know what I mean? And as long as it's legal, let's see. See if he wants to try the Warriors way out a little bit. Yeah, he was great. He was great.
All right. And then Jasmine was asking, what makes a great draft pick? You know, since I've been covering this very closely the last 3 years, starting with, was it 3? Yeah. So this is year 3, because Wiseman I went deep dive into.
Yes.
Because prior to that, granted, we did draft Jordan Poole, and he turned out to be pretty damn good. But before that, as you know, Jacob Evans, Nemanja Nedovic, those, it was hard to really get me to really dive into it. And then we
didn't really have a position.
Number 2. So I really had to do my homework at that point. And what I learned in 2020 and seeing the results of the draft the next year as well, when we had Kuminga and Moody, and you look at that and you go, wow, there's these guys like Trey Jones, Kai Jones, Trey Murphy. Sorry. See, I get them mixed up because long wingspan, super athletic. Trey Murphy turned out awesome with the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Kai Jones, not so much for Charlotte so far, right? So then one of the things I realized was exactly what Eric G was talking about, was the wingspan stuff. And I loved how he said, especially when you get the plus 5 inches. So Draymond, 6'6", plus 5, 6'11". His wingspan 7 feet 0.5. So that's over 5 inches extra.
Yeah, not 7'6" though, right? 7 feet and half an inch.
7 feet and a half an inch, right?
Yeah.
70.5.
Right.
So Draymond's got that plus 5 indicator.
Yep.
And so does
Clay's got to be close to that too, right? I would imagine.
Well,
6'10", 6'11" wingspan, I think. Is
really
6'7", something like that. Yeah.
You might. So. Let's look it up. Let's pull this up because I'm so curious to know about this. Let's look up Klay. Which one's this? Spot track. Okay. Klay Thompson wingspan. Wingspan. Here we go. Oh, it's not that good. 6'9". But Andrew Wiggins, wait, no, that's 7 to 6'7", so that's 5 inches right there.
Yep.
But anyway, guys like Trey Murphy, and I think even like a Ben Sheppard he's 6'6", and I remember, oh no, only 6. So I'm automatically, that's how I've become now. I go and look at wingspan. That's one of my first ones that I look at. You're 6'6" and you have a 6'7" wingspan. I'm like, right? Let's look at Kris Murray. I know one of these guys has pretty good wingspan. 6'11", but he's 6'9". So that's kind of what I look at when I go to the NBA draft.net draft board here and I click on one of these guys. I wish wingspan was more prominent.
I think eventually it will be. Yeah.
But anyway, so that's one of the things.
Although it's harder. Yeah. It's harder to get accurate information,
But then as you go down the draft, then you're kind of more role player-ish. So then it doesn't matter as much. And then you're going into the work ethic. Of course, up here, the separation between 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is what Jasmine is saying, which is feel for the game, knowledge, work ethic, drive. What's most important? I usually go look for that athleticism and wingspan, because just in case, because that's how Trey Murphy was that to me. And look at him, but then you have some misses too, like Kai Jones.
Sure. Well, and DA brings up a great point that I think Desmond Bane's wingspan is shorter than his height, and yet he's still a great player.
Interesting. Yeah.
Steph's is about his height. I almost wonder actually if it hurts you defensively, but might help your shot, just like a more compact motion on the jump shot.
Interesting. That's a good point. That's a good point. So in terms of those types of players, I always wanted wings because, like, you're going to get Andre might retire, and then you're down one wing. That kind of wings are so versatile. You look at how versatile Iguodala is, and that's actually there was a comp made to Andre. Let me look at my notes. I think it was Hood-Schifino. I'm not sure. Let me. Oh gosh, where am I going to find this? Gosh, I got to find a way of just instantly typing my notes onto the website. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's sorry. Amen and Oscar Thompson are the comps to Andre Iguodala. So way up higher in the draft board.
I don't think it's Bruce's birthday.
Oh, who's saying?
I think Nicole was saying, "Stop being mean to Jordan Poole." It's his birthday.
Oh, it's gotcha. Yeah. Bruce, stop being mean to the birthday. Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm not sure is that who Bruce was talking about.
Oh, I see. I get it.
Yeah, Juneteenth and Father's Day. Yes, happy Father's Day.
Kevin Love over
Voldemort, I guess. I don't know.
Kevin Love over who does people want? Dwight Howard? I don't know. JaMychal?
Oh, Strus.
Duh. Oh, sorry.
Hey, you should go to the Nuggets, huh, Bruce? Or the Jazz.
God.
He'll be up there in the Rockies.
We only heard this 5 straight games.
Yeah.
And then some. Strus probably had a bad game against the Celtics. Yeah. So probably 7 games at a minimum.
Oh, he was on fire against the Celtics. I promise.
It's hilarious.
Belated happy Father's Day to all fathers. Yep. My cats didn't get me anything for Father's Day. I don't know what they just keep screaming at me all the time.
Okay. All right. So draft is on Thursday. Yeah.
Real quick. I don't know if I have any physical things that I look for, in a draft prospect.
Oh, okay. Wasn't quite sure where that was going.
Yeah, it's Father's Day. No, I because sometimes you're looking for, shooting point guard. The other times you're looking for a defensive big, whatever.
Yeah, position. Yeah. How do you know?
Yeah. But I love guys who are kind of overly competitive and also who are constantly talk about the team, which, kind of cliche, I guess. But I think so much of basketball is a mental thing, where Michael Olowokandi should have been better than, than Sean Livingston or something. I mean, it's not the same position, but you know what I mean.
Olowokandi being the number 1 pick way back in the day.
Having all those, or Anthony Bennett, should have been better than Andre Iguodala because he had all the tools to whatever, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. Sometimes you even have great college players who don't make it, but almost all the time, hyper competitive team players seem to make it in the league in some way, So that's what I really look for, is that kind of character, I guess, and also the commitment to playing team-oriented style of basketball. Yeah, they passed Steph Curry twice. Yeah. The whole league passed over Jokic at least once too. Hey, who knows, man?
All right, I gotta use the restroom real quick, but feel free to any closing statements, I guess you have, Dean.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't know. I like I think from what we heard Mr. Eric G saying, I actually would take I'm not sure how much I really even want to have a young guy on the team. Not because I don't like young guys, just to have more spaces for veterans. But I actually was kind of okay with some of the drawbacks and very interested in some of the strengths that he was saying that Mr. Eric G was saying about Kris Murray, and maybe it's just because I saw Keegan Murray, up close and personal in the playoffs, but I also just like, I know the wingspan and everything. I just, he mentioned he was defensive minded. I believe he's a senior, isn't he? No, I'm sorry. He's a junior. So still a little bit older. I don't know. I'm interested in that. And I also, outside of probably the 19th pick, maybe around somewhere, if the Warriors wanted, they could trade up. I do kind of like Anthony Black. Again, I've heard he was very competitive type player. I haven't really watched much draft tape. It seems like this should be a month after the finals. And, I think had it gone to game 7, that would have been yesterday. But I like those two a lot. And TJD, I think, is Trayce Jackson-Davis. That's being a senior defensive big. Those are some interesting prospects there. Nicole with Draymond. Well, obviously, one option is that he just leaves. I don't think that's very high. What I'm hoping is that, honestly, if you want the specifics, I'm hoping that he'll sign for about $120 million, declining by about $3 million per year. Honestly, I know people are kind of.
How many years is that?
4 years. Yeah. So it's start at 33 or so and go to.
But the problem now, I'm thinking you don't make a decline because of the second apron. Somehow fit it in.
Why would that help?
Because it's going to be more penalizing the more, the whole first round pick that becomes the 30th pick. If you're 3 out of 5 years or something like that.
But I mean, this starting year, we already have Steph making 50 and Klay making 41 or something like that, So.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that's, something you got to look out for is the second apron. And so maybe that reverses the Draymond stepping it up a little as the cap goes up over the next few years. But I'm nitpicking.
Well,
I think, has Bruce replied yet? He thinks Draymond is leaving, but why? Because I would think after today's Mike Dunleavy podium, you seem really confident that we're going to get Draymond.
Well, here's the other thing too, man. I am a little bit happier that he decided to opt out now. even if there's a little bit more risk at this moment, because having to face Dre final year, Klay player option, all that stuff all at once next year. That would have been the last dance type, situation. Not for Steph, obviously, but Dre opting out, obviously, and I haven't heard a new Draymond Green podcast, and I bet that's why. It's because there's still contract stuff up in the air. But he seems so positive about the team. If you lock in Dre until 2027, I mean, that's 15 years in the league for him. That's how long he said he wanted to play. And so I'm hoping that whether it's declining or inclining, whatever it is, I'm hoping that that's locking Draymond in with the Warriors for the rest of his career, and that level of stress going into this season and the off season is lessened by that. Yeah, it does feel sad every time, which is not normal. I mean, it's normal to be a little.
Yeah. But they're also, I just typed it in. I saw Sean Livingston on the road a lot when I used to be on the road. And guess who stopped going on the road? Me.
Sean
Sean not wanting to go on the road anymore. I totally feel that. And
he's put in his time, man. He's given us a lot. Although you don't want a massive brain drain either, Well, because obviously JaMychal leaving as well, Bob, JaMychal, and Sean. Those are all important pieces, but well, if Draymond's out, the Warriors are done. I never say that. But the Warriors are done competing for titles if he leaves. So that's, the future of Steph Curry being a winner is not entirely, but is hugely on Draymond Green's shoulders right now. And the Warriors also being able to, make sure that he's offered what it takes to keep him. With that being said, I'm not feeling too nervous because I think he'll be back. And if we have Steph and Dre, I'll take my chances against any team ever. I really will. So
I saw some shenanigans, is what I'll call it, on Twitter, where comparing again, so there's a huge faction of Warriors fans on Twitter that just don't understand the value of Draymond and get caught up with his quote unquote, I'll call them antics and whatnot. But it's just like, I mean, if you know basketball, this whole Draymond thing could be a barometer of how you understand the game. So then that becomes a comparison between Steph and Draymond. But it doesn't work that way. Like, Steph needs Draymond, Draymond needs Steph. They both need Klay. So it's an ecosystem. So you want to be careful about ranking all of our guys. But Draymond is definitely part of that ecosystem. So if he's out of the picture, then it's super hard, right? Super hard.
Yeah. Well, you remove the thing that made that ecosystem what it is. And obviously, most of us know that if you remove a vital part of an ecosystem, you're going to see a lot of changes,
So we get back to that every single live stream, Let's not get caught up in all that outrage on social media that kind of messes up your ability to see what's happening. So the first domino right here, let's get Draymond back.
Yes.
And if by some small chance that doesn't happen, then we'll worry about it. But why worry about it now? When we don't have to yet. Let's just. Plus, as I said, the Dunleavy podium talk today, the interview, seemed to really feel like he feels that it can be
Absolutely.
done.
And please, everyone, if you're interested, leave a like on that video as well. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But I think, what I was saying, I hope you guys take as kind of a positive thing of Draymond not opting in for 1 year and having all this pressure on us again next year. Instead, hopefully, locking up what is probably around the end of his career with the team around 2020. I mean, he's been talking about 15 years. That's 2027. So, having him here for that amount of time, I mean, would just be that'd be so awesome, man. Having him locked up for 4 years, or not locked. That's not the right term. Not locked up, but set in stone here, written in water here for 4 years. I mean, that makes this special connection that this team and Steph, Klay, and Dre have. That makes it a lot more likely that we get to enjoy that for their entire careers, and that's a win, man. I'm just telling you, it's a win as fans. It's a win for your status as something even beyond a dynasty, as something approaching, the third pillar of the NBA after the Lakers and Celtics, or Celtics and Lakers, whatever way you want to put that. I just would hate to ever have to watch Steph compete against Draymond in the NBA too. Like, that sounds terrible. I don't want to watch that. That'd break my heart, man. I don't want to watch that. So let's get him on board for these next couple seasons. No matter what happens, just keep these guys together. They've earned it, and I think this team will come back hungry too. I really do.
Draymond and LeBron are in France. Okay. Yeah, I think Draymond was in Monaco.
Yeah.
So I guess LeBron's there too.
I guess LeBron's coming to the Warriors then, Bruce. So that's great. I'd go for it, man. If he wants to come, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, there was an altercation in the preseason between two of our players. We know. Exactly, Amy. Yeah, please don't go. Please don't leave.
Reduce payroll. Well, okay.
What are you looking at, Rich?
Parth is saying I would look at options to reduce payroll. It's not so much look at options to reduce payroll. It's just, it is what it is. Like, you look at this salary cap, right? Sure, Klay's not making $40 million in 2024 when he extends. Okay, I wouldn't worry about it. It's going to be so when we right now. Mike Dunleavy is sort of negotiating Klay's extension. Sort of.
Yes.
Yes. Right?
I do. I would like to marry Dre and Klay together, if possible. I think that's a good idea.
It's got to all be fair. So the other part of the equation is not only fair for Draymond, but then fair because you can't give Draymond some exorbitant number here that skews it for Klay. Also, Wiggins took a discount. That's in the books. So that kind of helps out. And
Wiggins
finally,
has one of the best contracts in the league, by the way, I think.
And finally, the last thing is that whole new CBA with the second apron thing. So, what's his name? Saleh, butchering his name probably, but the guy who's in charge of salary cap that, was formerly headed by Bob Myers, now headed by Mike Dunleavy. So that guy, the salary cap expert, he's a huge part of this negotiation where he comes in. And then I'm sure Rich Paul has some guy that he can go and, hey, run the numbers. And then, so.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure the agents are planning out way, way ahead for
all parties involved want Draymond to be a Warrior. And I just think they'll work it out. That's why I'm confident on that. I just really don't have any worries. And then once Draymond's done, then Klay's should be a walk in the park whenever they decide to do that.
You hope so. Yeah, definitely.
Just in terms of like the whole thing that Parth brought up, which is to, what were the exact words? Reduce payroll. Yeah, we're going to reduce payroll, I believe, with this new number. Maybe, Draymond, will be something around this. And then somebody on Twitter will do the numbers and we'll see where we land on the second apron. But,
that is one reason I did like the decline, though, with with both Dre and Klay, is that it's the same amount of money overall, but as Steph gets to almost $60 million, it just is a few million off as they age.
And we all know, they know that Steph was only getting paid $12 million on this side of the table.
Yes.
Not too long ago. So he's paid his dues, opposite of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
I mean, all these guys have earned kind of, anything that they want, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Klay doesn't have a player option. And I'm just not worried about that. One domino at a time. Deal with Draymond, and then we'll see what's happening with the team, and then they'll talk about Klay and throw out reasons to do Klay's extension now or later or whatever. We'll talk about that later. So I don't really know, but I'm not worried about it at the same time.
Yeah.
Because they all want to stay together. So we'll make it work.
Yeah, they've all said that pretty openly.
Yeah.
In the past.
Oh, Parth brings up a good point here. They better extend Klay. I have a feeling he'll be all-star next season. That's actually a reason for Klay not to want to get the extension right now.
Right.
Bet on himself to then, at the same time you go, oh, CBA, second apron and everything. But at the same time, Klay and Klay's agents got to go, but I'm worth this much in the market at the same time. So there's all these factors happening. But I think everybody wants to remain a Warrior. So that's good news.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like almost echoing what Joe Lacob said today, where the stuff that Draymond does well, the stuff that he contributes, overwhelms the bad parts. So I'm thinking, both Draymond and Klay, from a financial perspective, let's have something that the good overwhelms the bad. Figure out a way to keep you a Warrior.
The other thing too, and I've mentioned this before, is I think based on what we've heard, and Eric did mention that it's not been said yet, but it does seem like if you can keep the depth of this team together, it'll be very difficult for another team to replicate that after the 24-25 season. when all the facets of the new CBA are set to come into play. Just because it's, the Bradley Beal trade that just happened, not allowed after July 1st.
It hasn't just happened actually yet, but it's.
But that's been reported.
All the insiders are saying it's going to happen. So
yeah, but it has to go through before July 1st, I believe, because then otherwise it wouldn't be even allowed. Because I forget the Suns. I forget what it was that would disallow it. But the Suns are going to be hitting a ridiculous payroll. They only have 4 high-level players, and everybody else is a minimum, basically. I think maybe there's some $3-4 million player in there, but
they're going to get a lot of guys back, though, so that's good.
They're going to get what?
The report from I can't remember who, but a reliable guy, journalist, was that they're probably going to get a lot of guys back, including like Damian Lee. I don't know if he's on a 2-year. Let's just look at it. Here we go.
Yeah. And they might break up DeAndre Ayton's contract for some smaller pieces or something like that. But this is like the last year, that you can really do that.
Right. That's why. Well,
this year and next season.
Yeah, there you go. So before July 1st of 2024, that could get broken up. So there's people saying, reliable insiders saying that Ayton will probably get dealt right after the season.
Because that's this season. So they'll go through this season with him, you think? Brooklyn Suns.
The rules kick in, I think, July 1st of next season, of next year.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Right.
So be a busy draft night, be a busy, up to the trade deadline, I think. And then a lot of teams are set in stone, or they're going to have to just work around these really, really restrictive rules, or just cut costs. If the Warriors don't have to do any of that, though, there'll be a massive talent gap, I think, between the roster that the Warriors have right now and a lot of other teams' ability to get there, right? And then you could say, well, we don't really need to worry after, Steph, Klay, and Draymond are retired, as much about any of that stuff, because you imagine they'll try and get way under the tax and everything. And so, I think you go all out for next 3 years, not necessarily blockbuster moves, maybe not, but there is some way where you might be able to just use the CBA to make sure that you have the depth and talent advantage, going forward, I think. Yeah, Devin Booker played a little point. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
I have work on Thursday.
Oh boy.
So I won't be able to.
It's gonna be me and Doc Martin. I gotta call up some people, see if we can get them on here.
That'll be great, though.
In your absence. Yeah. Because it's gonna be a long draft. Those are always marathons.
Yes.
Well, I guess we only have to really go until pick 19, since that's our only pick. So that's good news.
But I mean, there's always news and stuff or trades or whatever that might. I mean, again, I think this would be a very active draft night, personally. In fact, I heard Woj say that he's not going to focus on getting picks out before the commissioner or deputy commissioner or whatever.
You think Shams is bought into that? If Shams is doing it, then Woj has to.
But I think Woj is making a bet that it's going to be a lot more trades that he's going to have to be on top of, rather than going solely for the draft picks.
Oh, that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Okay, but they're still gonna spoil it.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know how it'll work for him. Maybe Shams will do it more and Woj will be more on the other side. I don't know. But he did say that he's going to focus on that more. Mm-hmm. Maybe Nicole can fill in for me. Yeah, absolutely. We can hear her husband swearing in the background. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Nicole, you got to tell us, did he swear in the background because the Heat didn't get Bradley Beal? Well, now you guys are trying to get Damian Lillard, but that's a long shot. That's even a more long shot than Bradley Beal was. Mm. But I wonder if the household was a little upset by that or not.
Well, right. Bradley Beal had a trade.
No trade clause.
No trade clause. Yes, thank you, Rich. I think he's the only player in the NBA who has one.
Right. Yeah. No one's going to do that anymore.
Well, I would do it. I would do it with Draymond and Klay or something. Again, in exchange for.
Actually, Draymond has one. He has a trade kicker. It's not a no trade clause.
That's not quite the same thing because it's. Well, it just incentivizes teams, but they can do it if they want. But he did. He's praying for Lillard. Well, I mean, I don't know. You guys just made the NBA Finals, and you didn't even have Tyler Hero, So,
but
Lillard wouldn't worry too much out there, South Beach. Yeah. A little sad though.
That's why the third pick is big. Portland's pick. We'll see what happens. We should draft Derek Whitehead if we can't trade up. Oh, boy. So Eliza's joining us a little late here. We had Eric G on earlier.
From NBADraft.net. Yeah.
I don't even know who Whitehead is. Oh, there he is. 6'7", 33rd on the list, on the board. Duke freshman. So you're drafting for upside. And we already talked about how we're probably not trading up because that'll make the payroll a little bit more expensive with the higher pick. But yeah, we're probably staying put.
Well, I mean, again, I wanted to see Kuminga more in the Lakers series. So I don't really. I mean, me and Rich have been asking for more Kuminga going back to Boston. So I hope we get a chance to see him play consistent minutes the whole season, because it seems like when he does, we do pretty well. And I get Kerr's thing. I thought it was very interesting that that Eric was saying that Kerr's handling of that, or the Warriors' handling of that, has made us a little bit less attractive of a destination.
Oh, wait. See, so that's where I want to adjust the framing of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you could blame Kerr all you want. What about Steph, Klay, and Dre and Looney? Do you know how hard it is to play a rookie, to develop a guy while you have basically these set Hall of Famer types? I mean, it would have been nice for Steph not to throw the ball away 3 times at Orlando late in the game and won some of those road trip games, and then
Game 4
we would have been able to play Kuminga a few more minutes here or there, or even Wiseman. We're talking way back in the first road trip. So I mean, Kerr's going to get the blame, but it's an ecosystem thing. You can't really just blame Kerr for all this in terms of agents having their clients drop out of Warriors workouts because we're not going to play those guys. I think it's just a product of the environment, and I think it's just you can't have it all. So if we're going to have Steph, Klay, Dre, Looney, and then Wiggins, our roster is pretty damn good. Just with that. And then we have GP2 off the bench. So to have a couple prospects in there, actually we have 3 very viable young players that can be future pillars of franchises. And man, I think we have a lot. So I'm happy with, I come from a position of abundance, not lack. So I'm not really worried about that. And so like when there's agents pulling out their draftees from Warriors workouts, I just kind of look at it as, well, I mean, that's the price we pay. We got a damn deep roster. So, oh well, it happens.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm much happier being in the Warriors position than a lot of other teams trying to contend, because a lot of other teams need to add players. We need just our players here to play at their best. It's kind of as simple as that. If they do that, we'll be pretty good. If they don't, we still have Steph, Klay, and Draymond.
Right.
So, and Loon and Peyton and Moody. And man, we don't talk about Moody enough, I think. Like that dude, I have no doubts going into next season that we can trust Moses Moody in a big spot. You know what I mean? I just think he showed everything I needed to see in the playoffs. Jordan Poole. I mean, how many times you go like, yeah, all right, I guess we'll put in a 20 part per game scorer here in our starting lineup. All right, fine. I mean, Klay was great throughout a lot of the season. Struggled a little in the Lakers series, but that's okay. When was the last time Klay struggled, in the playoff series? 2016? I mean, I don't know. That happens once in a while.
Yeah, just
A la NBA 2K. Yep, exactly.
Any update on Rollins? Rollins did tell Jason Dumas that he's fully healthy now. So there's that.
Yes, exactly.
212 work. GP2
was Chat GP2 was also saying that he felt like he was getting back to 100%. I think I heard Money Pool saying that, I believe.
Money Pool said that? Do you remember when?
I think it was on a Dubs Talk episode I was listening to that came out today or yesterday.
Oh, it's a recent one. That's good.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Love to have a healthy GP2.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man.
Season.
Money's going to be busy Thursday, though, writing a story. I'll see if he's available.
Yeah.
So GP2, you kind of cut out there, actually. GP2 is fully healthy?
He said that he's feeling a lot healthier than he had. Like, he was okay during the season, but he's feeling like a lot closer to 100% now. And I was just saying that that's vitally important for us to have, a healthy GP2 for a whole season.
We forget we only had GP2 for like a month, and
it was like 7 games or something, right?
We didn't have plus playoffs technically. So
right, yeah.
So and then Wiggins we didn't have for 3 months. So
yep.
How many months is a season? 8?
It's 6 months of regular season and like 3 months of the playoffs.
Yeah. So we didn't have him for like 3 out of 7 months, let's say 7.5.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we'll have that. That was the thing was I was thinking that's part of my reasoning of why Dunleavy feels confident that we'll get Draymond back is because he didn't have to explain, like he didn't have to go up there and say, well, we think our roster is good to go because we only had GP2 for the last 7 regular season games, and now we get him for a whole season. We didn't have Wiggins for 3 months, and now we get him. So it's almost like quasi new players, right? So,
and it's just incredibly disrupting to have to go through that psychologically, even if they're guys that you're used to, you know. It's very strange to constantly have people coming and going all season long, you know. It's not the easiest way to win. Bonte's becoming a Draymond hater. What?
Just I see some weird stuff coming out of there, but you know, they're the ones that will tweet out, they meaning the corporation, the radio station, they'll tweet out an eyes emoji, like, oh, he said something controversial. It's just like, it's so annoyingly clickbait, right? So I can't stand that when they're over the top on getting you to react to their tweet. It's very annoying, but then again, that's the business you're in. If you and I were here trying to build a radio station, that's what we would have to do. Of course, it's a little different now because of technology and where we're headed. So because of YouTube and other technologies, we can go into more niche type stuff and
Sirius XM podcast, all that type of,
stay as a positive, information-based channel rather than relying on entertainment, because then you have advertisers that you already have decades-long relationships with that are expecting this amount of, listeners on the radio and things like that. And you got to deal with, what do they call Nielsen ratings, I think, or SoundScan. You got to deal with different rating system. It's just so I get it. It annoys me still sometimes, but I get it. So if it just so happens that Bonte Hill is watching this at some point, I get it. It's all good.
I was just surprised. Surprised. That's all. I mean, because
it happens.
I don't really hear him on the radio. I generally hear him on, post game or whatever. And I can't imagine him not wanting Draymond back. I can't imagine any real Warriors fan not wanting Draymond back. I mean, I guess there are people like that, and that's cool. But it sounds like Dunkirk and everybody like that. They're all behind Draymond coming back, which is great. Oh, Parth, we do not have that. That is something that starts like right now. Is that we will not have anything but the vet men to sign free agents who aren't kind of already part of the team, if you get what I mean. Oh, the John Morant suspension. Yeah. 25 games is a lot. It's a lot for not having committed a crime, but it was a fireable offense, what he did. Especially, if that was his first time, I don't think it would have been nearly as harsh, but there was a sense that, you're playing with this machine as if it's a toy. And you also said you weren't going to do that. So I think they really suspended him for 33 games and then gave him those 8 games he missed last season off as time served or whatever. So I hope a little bit of more harshness on the suspension will prevent Ja from potentially squandering one of the best opportunities you can get in life. You know, I mean, think of how many people would kill to be in that position. Hopefully not actually kill, you know what I mean, but would do anything, you know, to be there. And he's such a young guy, man, you know. Although the South Carolina guys have been a little bit in the news. I guess him and Zion for different reasons. But I just hope Ja, you know, sees this basketball opportunity being taken away for those 25 games, sitting at home like I want to be out there with my team, I want to be out performing again, and something just clicks because
Yep, we lost him. He froze. All right. Yeah, so on Ja, well, they're going to have to find another point guard to go alongside Tyus Jones. I saw a tweet out there by somebody who's reliable saying that they're going to get rid of Tyus Jones. How could you? You cannot touch him right now. He's the point guard on record with Ja out for 25 games. He knows the system. He knows the team. So that makes no sense. So I think Tyus Jones will remain on the Memphis Grizzlies, according to Keith Smith. Keith Smith, we know him. He's been on here. He said that they've probably now got to go out and get a guy. Luckily, their salary cap structure is going to allow for that. They're going to lose Dylan Brooks. They already, you know, said that they would not have him back this year. So the guy they drafted, yeah, but they're not going to just throw a second-year guy out there to run your whole team. He's still developing, whoever that is. Who is that? I thought David Roddy is a two-guard forward yet. So it's not him. Who's Jake LaRavia? Who is that? Forward? No. Wow. $3 million? Really? Huh. I don't know who that is. Is it Kenny Lofton? No, he's a forward. Jacob Gilyard? Here's a guard. Yeah. Anyway. Wow, suddenly we got tons of comments. Let's see. PBJ, all right. Must have got rid of him. Yeah, I don't know. All right. I don't know if we lost Dean Forget or not. Oops, let's do that. But I'm ready to call it a night. We've been on for 2 hours. Hey, not bad. 2 hours, 23 minutes, actually. And I think we covered everything. I mean, if not, go check our YouTube channel. Little Dunleavy action, Joe Lacob action. This is more behind the scenes. This is the whole 30-minute interview. And on the website, I put an article that talks about, Henry Braxton on our YouTube channel said, he sounds just like Bob. It's the multiverse. He is Bob Myers. Yeah. So in the multiverse. So that's kind of how I titled the article, Dunleavy, the Multiverse Myers. So go check that out. Got my top 5 takeaways from tonight, which was that, remember, the thesis of the night is that Mike Dunleavy loves this roster. He wants to keep Jordan Poole for 4 more years at least. He said at least. There's a lot of confidence of the Draymond talks in here. He humble bragged Mike Dunleavy even humble bragged and said, frankly, we get a lot of calls. People value guys on our roster, so I think we're in good shape. So all of that tells me they're not trading Poole, they're not trading Kuminga, and we're going to re-sign Draymond. We're going to give him an extension. Re-sign him, same difference. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. Really, I've never been this not worried. Isn't that crazy? About, other than we're running it back. Other than, years where we already had all three of our guys under contract anyways. Look, 2021, we got out of the pandemic. Where we headed into the next season. GP2 barely made the team. That wasn't a situation where I was worried that anyone would leave. It was just so unpredictable how we would play that there was nothing to worry about. We'd just play. Lo and behold, we won the finals. Last season, at the end of it, you were worried. Why? We were going to lose GP2. We knew we were going to lose Otto Porter, which is why I think we're going to lose Dante. It's just the money's too good out there for guys that deserve it. Dante deserves it. So other than that, but then now you add in, but we got to re-sign Draymond. And it's like, I'm just not worried about that. And then now Dunleavy goes on the podium and he basically says, I love our roster. Sounds like Poole and Kuminga aren't going to be traded. Sounds like they get calls all the time about Poole and Kuminga. Sounds like he uses that as a barometer of, hey, we're in good shape. They want our guys. So I haven't been this chill going into a draft in a while. I think ever. So it's interesting. Of course, it could all change, right? Tomorrow, somebody could get traded. Tomorrow, LeBron and Draymond could be having a secret meeting right now to talk about joining the Lakers. We don't know, right? So I don't ever want to rule that out. I've been here long enough to know the NBA is funny. And that's part of why Bruce is on sort of the other side. He's using the NBA is funny thesis, which is a valid thesis, that he thinks Draymond is not coming back. So there's two ways to look at it, but there's enough information out there that makes me feel comfortable that we're running it back. So I'm pretty comfortable with MBJ and his podium that we're running it back. And I haven't felt this way ever before a draft. GP2. Also good news. Some people have gotten their giveaways that I had promised last year. Man, some of this is more than a year ago, and I feel ashamed about it. But if you have ever been to nobody has. If anybody ever saw my old place compared to my new place, like my old place was not conducive to shipping out stuff because I had all of my stuff hidden away and it was hard to get to, actually. I never thought of that. I just knew I had the stuff. I just didn't know how difficult it was to go get the stuff. And yeah, I pulled out a few things, showed him on the live stream. Oh, look at this, these shoes and that. But geez, it was just logistically hard. But the first wave is out. I emailed Nicole. I think I said that I sent your things out. Actually, I haven't. It's still in my car because I had to man, you guys don't realize shipping stuff out is so difficult. I spent like $250 and a whole hour of my time, more than an hour, at the post office shipping things out. Whether it's the furthest was Lithuania, couple of Philippines. Pretty sure, Elijah, you're getting something pretty soon. If it's not in that batch, it's in the next batch. It's literally in my car. I just need to go to the post office. Of course, I'm also moving in this week. So the place is in shambles, but I got more room to maneuver and all the boxes are already out. But anyway, man, it's difficult. Like, and then I got to stand in line at the post office and make sure all the labels are correct. And man, shipping out stuff is. I'm glad I'm not in that business of like. Well, I kind of am now. I want it to be a regular thing. But anyway, I have a little bad news on the bobblehead issue. More to come on that. I've got to figure that out. But there's a chance that none of the bobbleheads will go out. So, Ryan, I know you wanted the Andre bobblehead, but there's a chance that I don't have that. But I do have a backup. Like, I'll make sure. I mean, granted, a bobblehead's a bobblehead. Those are fun toy items, but in lieu of bobbleheads, without any bobbleheads, I think you'll like your prize regardless. So updates on shipping out giveaways. So there's your update. It's like in process, and there's momentum, so that's good. Ty Jerome, yeah. Hope so. I think he's a good fit, and I think that if there's, he's been on the podium. You can go look at our playlists. Playlists, sort by date added newest. Scroll and look for Ty Jerome. Oh, look, he happens to be here. I don't know why. Is this the right sort? Last video added. Okay. So you don't want last video added. You want the opposite of that. And there's a Ty Jerome Mac McClung playlist. And if you go into some of the old Ty Jerome ones, which will show up on the... Wait. Oh, I've hidden the other ones because some of those Ty Jerome ones were copyright. So you have to take my word for it. Ty Jerome on the podium has often said how good of a fit he is with the Warriors. So maybe that, and he's at a minimum level anyway, or a two-way. So if nobody offers him a regular contract, then he's going to have to compete for a two-way contract on our squad. But he likes our squad, so he's more likely to go ahead and allow us to tell him to compete for a two-way. So if you're concerned about Ty Jerome, I think we have a good chance of getting him back. Anything else? Iggy, yeah. I wonder, is Andre going to retire or not? Don't know. And I got to look into that whole, he tweeted, we'll go look it up. Let's look it up. He tweeted a joke to, went to Andrew Bogut. No, Andre, okay. Replies. Let me maximize that. Did he delete it? What? Oh, there it is. See, where's this from? Moses Moody on Jonathan Kuminga having another growth spurt. I'm not lying. He's tall as F now. Where was this? Like, we're just going to believe some dude? We're going to believe some dude on Twitter. 20-year-old Kuminga now rumored to be 7 feet. Eyes. And then what does Andre go? I just saw him. He's 7'2". So I'm pretty sure he was just joking. And pretty sure this is false. Unless you can find me the actual quote. All right. What else is there? They won 15 in a row. Oh, the toaster. Yeah, I forgot the dude. I found out who the toaster belonged to. This was back in the day. Ooh, pool party. I actually have a headband. I don't know if it's actually Klay's, but Dawn Phillips got that because she was supposed to get some other Klay hat, and I was just during the move, everything got mixed up. And so I just picked out this Klay and that Klay thing. Somebody was supposed to get Klay shoes, and I switched that out because we didn't have it anymore. I think I gave that to Roland. Roland, where are you at? I live right by where Roland works now, which is insane. And I have met Roland out there in Palo Alto, but I gave some shoes to Roland and his kid, and I think maybe that was supposed to go to this other guy. And so I gave him these other shoes, but then it comes with this Klay. I also gave him this Klay. Remember the 10-year anniversary Klay book? Really nicely put together by Anta. Well, it comes with the shoes that I already gave to somebody else. And so I put different shoes in there, plus this guy is getting the package. I think he lives in LA. So whoever that was, I can't remember who it is. It's on my list. I have a list somewhere. Took a picture of it. So that guy is getting hell of a package in the mail. Oh, Dean's coming back on, and I'm ready to go, Dean. So yeah, we've dropped by half or more than half on the concurrence. So please splash the like button. We're gonna call it a day. Please, can I spell here? Splash the like button. Next live Thursday, June 22nd at 5 p.m. Let's go 4:45. 4:45 p.m. PDT. So Dean Chambers is back, but I'm ready to say goodbye. Dean, what's up?
What's up, Rich?
There you are. All right. Any closing words? Even though we had that like half an hour ago when I went to the restroom. Sorry about that. Very bad planning. We're all over the place. But I'm ready to go.
It's a little stable chaos. That's all. All good. Yeah, I mean, I did have a trade idea, but
good. Go for it.
It's a little crazy, but I think it might work. It'd be Kuminga and Wiggins for Jaylen Brown. I've been looking at it for a little while and think it might make sense for Boston. It'd have to include a lot of draft picks and stuff. But
I don't like it. You're trading,
you don't like it for
you're trading two wings for one wing. Hell no.
Yeah.
That's not gonna work.
That's Jaylen Brown though, man. He'd be perfect on the team.
No, I don't think he would. I'm worried about defense.
Well,
what does wingspan? Okay. Can you look that up?
Jaylen Brown. Well, let's look at his height too.
Well, I mean, if his wingspan is less than Wiggins, then we got a problem.
7 feet, already. It looks like.
So you said
7 feet. It looks like it says here.
Wiggs plus Wiggs plus JK for Jaylen. Mm-hmm. But why did you come up with this?
Well, I think for the Celtics, they get, again, as you said, 2 wings for about the cost of what Brown will be this next season. But because his contract is coming up, he's going to look for, I think it's max of $295 over 5 years, which is a lot. And also might unlock Tatum as being kind of that number one guy. I mean, he's already the number one guy, but it'd be complementary pieces rather than a player at a close level. Already kind of does what he does. And then
see what you did? Look at that. People are going crazy in the comments. It's all your fault, Dean.
Oh, it's all my fault? Come on,
yeah.
Man. All right, well.
Ethan McCormick's going tangent.
That's not enough money,
no,
I think.
We're not. No, you can't do Wiggins. But so really, but why? Why did this come through your brain? I don't get it.
Well, I've been thinking about it watching since the Warriors-Lakers series of how important it would be to have someone who can really attack the hoop as well as shoot and defend.
In that case, just tell Wiggins to attack the hoop.
Well, I mean, I think Brown is just naturally a little better at that, you know.
We already have 2 high turnover prone guys. We don't need a third high turnover prone guy.
Yeah, I think also maybe Brown might be a change of scenery type. Would help him a lot.
Oh, man.
I mean, look.
If I don't like it at all, and I can't believe that you thought of that.
Well, all right. I mean,
I'm shocked.
Would you say no if the Celtics offered that to us? You'd say no to that?
Does the salary match? You're talking about?
Yeah, it's 24. It's 24 and 6 for 30.
So we can't do a sign and trade.
That's not a sign and trade. It'd be a max extension off of his contract for Brown. He's not a free agent.
How do we? Oh, so just trade him right now before July 1st for Wiggins and Kuminga.
No, he has to sign the salary he's going to make for next year is about $30 million.
Right, and also there was someone in the Celtics are giving $295 million for 5 years. I saw the report today. Said Parth.
I'm sorry, what?
Parth says the Celtics. There's a report saying the Celtics are giving $295 million for 5 years.
That's the max contract offer that they can offer because he made second team All NBA. There was a large bump in the amount that they could offer him.
All right.
Yeah.
So then that'd be how many millions per year next year?
Next year, 30. After that, it would be around 53, 54 or something like that, which is a lot of money. I understand.
$300 million divided by 5 is $60 million a year.
Yeah, but you would start off at the lower end, and it would.
You sure he's going to get 30 here
next season? Yeah.
Why?
That's for the 2025 season that would kick in. Same reason Jordan Poole got $3 million.
Okay. It's right here.
But
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm looking at this table wrong. I should have done that.
It's not up on the screen, by the way, Rich.
Oh, sorry. Here. There it is. Okay.
I think so can Jaylen Brown though, especially with his skill set. Now, one of the things is I was looking at the roster too, and that's Curry, Klay, Brown, Draymond, and Looney. I think would be an excellent. An extremely difficult roster.
How badly do you want this?
Well, I'm happy, as I was saying, to just try to lock in all the depth and talent that we already have, because I think it will be harder to for other teams to match that. But I also feel like Brown puts us at a different level year by year. He's 26 years old, and he went to school in Cal. So he's got friends and family out here. I know people are a little down on him, especially that number, because of some of the struggles that he had. But also, I remember watching him in 22 in the finals, and his ability to hit to shoot the ball and also hit very, very tough layups, draw fouls, be a good defender and rebounder, all that stuff.
Well, you like Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
more than most of us, I think.
Maybe. Nicole's asking.
I haven't seen anything that jumps out at me other than the athleticism on offense.
That's why I asked you, Rich. I wanted to hear your perspective,
really?
man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just too many turnovers. It drives me nuts. It also drives Keith Smith nuts, and I'm already going nuts over Steph and Poole and Draymond. Actually, 4 high turnover guys. That's pulling my hair out. So I cannot. I watch the Celtics and I see Jaylen Brown do a turnover. I feel like I'm the coach, and I'm like, oh,
okay.
Gosh.
What?
That's the thing, that if he can reduce that. So the other thing is that you're trading 1 for 2 players. So I really do think Kuminga is going to be great. So
will he be great quickly enough though to fit Steph, Klay? Right?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he will. Yeah. So also throw it back your way. So when you throw these out there, it becomes people will attach you to them as if you really want that. So you just got to remind people.
I'd go for it. Yeah.
You really want, what percent on a scale of 1 to 100, 100 being that you absolutely want this to happen, what would it be?
Well, I'm not really sure how to answer that, because I don't really want to get rid of Wiggins or Kuminga, if you get what I mean. But
yeah,
just Brown in a vacuum. I don't know how to answer that.
Okay.
Because it's too complex, I think, to answer that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also agree with you. I think Kuminga is going to be incredible. It's just that he's 21. And
let's see. I'm just catching up to the comments. I don't watch Miles Turner enough to really get a grasp for that. But when people include and you're included in this, Wiggins in that, I gotta really think about that. I just don't know about the Miles Turner thing.
Yeah, well, it seems like for
Looney, what are you gonna do about Looney?
Exactly, and I guess Turner, he's enough of a 3-point shooter where you can play 2 bigs at one time, kind of a stretch big, and he did lead the league in blocks for a while. So I guess that'd be Draymond, assuming that, of course, Draymond comes back, and you have Looney coming off the bench, I guess. The thing is, though, I think Indiana,
drafting Derek Lively, it's kind of the same thing.
Of course, Turner is more experienced, right? He's actually played.
It's not the same thing. You're right.
Yeah, but
Lively is so young that I just
Yeah, what age is he? He's 19. Is that right?
It's pretty young. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. He's
I see that happening.
He's a freshman coming out of Duke. He's 7'1", 230, but he's still a freshman big. So, yeah. The thing is with the Pacers, though, I think they had a decision between Turner and Sabonis, and obviously they traded Sabonis and kept Turner. So I guess they might go without a traditional center or, a real big like that in terms of a veteran. But I don't think it's
Turner for Poole.
super likely.
Problem I have with that is you're essential. Then you're, if you bring in Miles Turner, right? You just talked about that. Looney comes off the bench, so you're affecting that, and then you're also affecting the speed of the team, because if you get rid of Poole,
interesting,
then,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a different type of team. If you're starting Miles Turner, you're affecting the speed and the, I don't know. I mean, you can make the argument, but the playoffs slow down. Okay, yeah. I just would rather have a future where you could approximate Poole to Steph's role after Steph retires. So I am kind of looking too timeline-ish. So then what do you do with Miles Turner out in year whatever? And I know it's kind of like go for broke type of deal, which as of yesterday, I was thinking, well, maybe you do go for broke these days, as Phoenix is doing, as the Clippers seem to be doing.
Yeah. And those are two very high, like they're going to be second apron teams, and they are.
Okay,
seemingly.
So Turner's contract ends 24-25. There's a reason right there not to do this deal.
And it's declining a lot. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
35 to
actually,
20,
that's a reason, I guess, to do the deal, because then you're reducing payroll.
Yeah, because he's only making $4 million over 2 years than he made this year. Yeah.
What do you do right after that? I mean,
well, you would if you're trading for him, you would get his bird rights from Indiana, so you'd be able to resign him to what you want. But
gotcha. So okay,
it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. You would save some payroll.
Yeah. Oh, so one of the reasons I was also thinking about the Brown thing is that it still might allow you to trade Poole and Baldwin for Burks and Bogdanovich too at the same time.
Ooh, and I think make a move.
I think that would save us about $6 million next year or something like that, because we have to send it. Starting July, we have to send out. You can still put salaries together in a trade this upcoming year, but you have to bring back. I believe this is true. You have to bring back less money than you sent out, whereas before it used to be the Warriors could take on more money than they sent out as long as it was within a 120% range or something like that.
Yeah, it's like the percentage is down to like 110 or something.
Yeah, well, but that's for the other team. For us, no matter what, we have to send back. We have to take back less money than we sent out anyway. But if it's around $6 million, the salary hit of, I think it's every dollar is times 5 or something. So that's a chunk of change right there.
Here we go. Sean and Ethan,
welcome.
They suddenly love this stream. Even though at first it was boring for 2 hours and 50 minutes. We're on 2 hours and 52 minutes now, 53 minutes.
Well, I was thinking about this trade for weeks, so I finally let it.
No, but that's okay. Yeah. Okay. It's kind of your fault. You were their muse. But let's address Nicole is asking about Zion, and Nicole's one of our longtime audience members. So let's go to her first.
Yes. Well, Zion is
injury, as Sean is saying.
Injury prone.
Yeah.
Also, not to judge his personal life or anything, but I do have some questions about both his maturity and his total commitment to basketball. Obviously he's a grown man, and when he plays, he's incredible. But is that a fit? In the locker room, the way, for instance, I know that Jaylen Brown is absolutely psychotically dedicated to the game of basketball, whatever his flaws are.
That's true.
And Zion is more talented than him. But I worry that if something goes wrong, it will it'll be a little harder to mesh that with the way Draymond and Klay and Steph are view the game. So I'd be obviously the chance at Zion is a chance at one of the most unique and incredible talents that we have in our game. But I wouldn't jump on that in quite the same way, On the other hand, we're not New Orleans, This is a different organization, so it could be amazing, It could be just what he needed. So, but right now, I don't think it's all that likely anyway, really. Especially with the cost that you'd have to send out for him. I'm not sure what's his salary anyway.
Well, it's gonna be big.
Yeah.
Ayton for Poole and Moody. I don't see Phoenix doing that.
They don't. If they trade Ayton for pieces, it's going to be size and defense.
That makes no sense.
Not wings and guards. I think
Rashawn Holmes and Harrison Barnes for Wiggins. Heck no. Why do you guys? Wiggins is way higher on my scale than
for Rashawn Holmes too.
Me and Parth love Wiggins.
I love Wiggins too. Don't get me wrong.
I get you. Yeah, Jalen is up there though. He's up there. So I get it. I'm not outraged at all by your trade idea, honestly.
Really?
Because there are some people, as yourself, that really can see Jalen being, the man of the franchise somewhere. I get that. I get it. I'm just not ready to deal Wiggins and JK, especially it being just physically two bodies for one.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Okay, what else we got?
I made Amy crazy. Oh no, I'm sorry. Queen Amy. Please forgive me.
Oh man, Zion's recent off the court thing really messed up his reputation. I don't know a thing about Zion, unfortunately, so I can't really say.
It's not so much that, it's the fact that he's out of shape and doesn't seem to always has been out of shape and seems like that's a cause of injury. And I get that. Look, we all want to have our cake and eat it too, but
all right.
It's just the way I feel. I guess.
For the Sean and Ethan, the good thing about all these scenarios, which I go back to different scenarios. So at the end of the day, I'd rather just sit back and watch the actual real life happen and see what happens. And go from there.
I trust the Warriors front office way more than I trust myself to make the right.
However, Sean and Ethan, I do want to give them credit in keeping the stream going and upping the energy level as you do get from this. Let's face it, it's entertainment right now. This what we're talking about is entertainment. So, and that's fine. So the next thing he mentions is we might as well keep going. Why not? Pascal Siakam. I love Pascal though, right?
Yeah.
I haven't thought of him in the frame of mind of trading for him because that's not really what I do. I just enjoy basketball players as they are. I don't start thinking, oh, he would look good in a Warriors uniform, this and that. I know that that's fun to do. I just don't do it as much. So now that I'm allowing myself to do that, let's think of that.
Yeah.
Pascal Siakam. What do you think, Dean?
It's interesting. The one thing is the guys that we'd have to trade are not in the position that he plays. So again, you have Draymond, Siakam, and probably Looney coming off the bench, and you don't get another wing back. So that's why I'd hesitate. But just Siakam in a vacuum.
Let's go to Toronto.
Is an awesome player.
I love how you said that, Siakam in a vacuum. So what we do lots of times on the internet is we take this vacuum and we take it apart and we try to connect it to real life when it's really just a vacuum.
You pump a bunch of hot air into a vacuum, and what happens?
But anyways, no, it's fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Keep going on the Siakam thought.
Oh, well, I think, you just said you don't look at guys and think on another uniform, but thinking about this now, I wonder, I wonder what like Siakam would have been like in the Bam Adebayo role on the Heat this year. Does he improve that, or is that
Bam
too different?
Siakam can play the 5?
Oh yeah, he's generally playing the power forward or center. Looks like in Toronto a lot of times. Yeah.
Okay. It's not OG.
I think OG's playing like the 3-4.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Siakam's obviously got the length.
Yeah. And the athleticism.
He's 29. I think of that as a good thing, actually, him being 29, seasoned vet.
Yeah, I'd say 26 to 33 is generally the best mix of basketball, IQ, athleticism, experience, losing enough to know how to win,
right. And he has
scars. Yeah, he's yes. Yeah. And he played incredible that whole playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
He had a little bit rough 2020, but then he's bounced back and been pretty good. I think. And also a change of scenery type guy as well, potentially. Where it's not like he seems unhappy, but Toronto, since Kawhi left, has not been the highest.
How the heck would we... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, the next one, Kyle Kuzma. How the heck would we get Kyle Kuzma?
I'm not sure Kuzma wants to come off the bench anyway. I don't think he thinks he's like an all-star necessarily, but I do think he's going to want to start,
Let's see. Serge Ibaka.
Serge Ibaka's a great idea for vet men, but nothing else.
He can come here on a vet min.
Yeah.
Because that's all the slots that we have left.
Yep.
Going back to Golden State here. That's all we got underneath these guys. Naz Reid's probably going to – we talked about him before.
Yes, Naz Reid we can't get him. He's not a vet man. He was a second-round draft pick, and he is about to get some money either from the Timberwolves or someone with cap space. But I guess he could sign, and then we could trade for him later on in the season or something like that. But let's see. I think if I thought I knew how much people were talking about him for, but I'm not totally sure, so I won't say it. But I'm certain he'll get a nice paycheck. Yes, K-Love. Yeah, talked about that. Again, it's a little hard because his team just made the finals, but he does have that personal connection with Klay. For those who don't know, both grew up in the same town, small town in Oregon. And both are connected with LA too, and obviously played against each other a lot in the finals there.
I also think that the fact that they lost the finals instead of won the finals, because when you win the finals, he might have gotten a pay raise somewhere though if he won the finals, maybe. But then also you want to run it back when you win there's pressure to run it back. There's pressure on Bruce Brown. Mike Malone pressured him, but I still think Bruce Brown will choose the money because it will be a lot. A huge rage for Bruce Brown.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about that? Kevin Love winning or losing the finals increases the probability of him coming to the Warriors.
Well, I think Kevin Love is probably going to be around that vet min area anyway. Since a lot of the contender teams are around the second apron and they don't have a mid-level, as we mentioned before.
There you go.
I think if he won it, he'd probably definitely stay. Losing, he probably still feels like, you get a little bit more depth in Miami. And, I mean, he chose them as a 7th seed in the East, back around the trade deadline. In fact, I remember being at the All-Star game in Utah, talking to you guys about that. And, it's like just been reported that he went to the Heat. So, I guess it's 50-50, whether just stay versus go. And if he goes somewhere, obviously, from my perspective, I don't know if I was an NBA player why I wouldn't try and go to the Warriors. But these guys have different ideas than we do, about their career, and they obviously have a lot more information, with their agents and being involved with it. I would love to have him on the team, though. I'd love to have him on the team. A big man who can rebound, outlet, pass, and shoot. Yeah. Who's a vet with a ring that our trio can trust, or Trinity can trust. Yeah. That'd be awesome. Bamba. I keep hearing the name Mo Bamba, and I've watched him play, and I just don't. I don't even get what the big deal is. I don't mean to be rude, but he seems like a nice center who's talked about like 10 times as much as a bunch of other pretty nice centers out there. Like I've heard Mo Bamba.
We don't have people that's tall, so that's
we have. I don't know if we need another center though, especially not for 10
million.
But
it's not transactionally possible. He makes $10 million. He's not going to go from 10 million to veteran minimum.
Yeah, well, they're saying that
he's 10 million right now or next season.
There's a possibility he gets waived. So I guess if that happens, he'd still collect that paycheck. But why would the Lakers waive him? Wouldn't they try and do some trade? Well, salary matching.
Unless he right. That's a big enough figure.
Yeah. Well, because him and I guess D'Lo would have to be signed and trade
at this point.
But
I feel like we're throwing out names.
Yeah.
Anthony, wow, we stayed on long enough for Anthony to check in.
Yeah. Must be tomorrow already.
Amy likes Marquise Chris, as do you.
I love Marquise Chris. I love
Mason Plumlee. Huh.
That's interesting for a vet man. I would imagine, right?
Fun.
He is a song named after him. Well,
Obama.
Stephon Marbury had a shoe named after him.
There's actually a lot of songs about a lot of guys.
Yeah.
That have, not the whole song though, so that's different. All right, Mason Plumlee, he's on the Clippers. Wait, why would they get rid of him?
Maybe he's a free agent?
Let's see. Yeah, free agent. Made $9 million. Okay.
Can you scroll down just a little?
Oh, can only make vet minimum on this squad. Can only make vet minimum on our squad. But anyways.
Well, I don't know if the Clippers have bird rights on him or not. In which case it'd be a little different. But
we'll see.
I mean, it's a nice name.
Going out some names. Let's see. What else is there? RJ's here even. All right.
Yeah.
I love MDJ. All right. Cool. We're caught up on all the names that have been thrown out there. Not bad. Not bad names, actually. So glad we covered it. Thank you, Ethan and Oh, who's the other guy? Scroll up.
Yes.
Sean. Thank you, Ethan and Sean. Let's see.
Oh, did we check out Kuzma?
Oh, yeah, that would be a straight trade. Like, Pool's got to be involved in that, right?
I don't know what Kuzma. I think he's at 13 million or so.
Oh, that's it. Oh, okay.
But that's a player option,
Oh, he's
right?
gonna
And I
opt
think
out.
he's opt out
Exactly.
and get a bigger contract than that. Yeah, I think so.
So then he would have to. Doesn't that count as a sign-in trade? No.
Well, I don't know, because if he re-signs with the Wizards, who traded for him and then have his bird rights.
Oh boy, but he doesn't want to come off the bench. Yeah, so
Yeah, again, right. So if that is another thing. You kind of want to trade, if not position for position, then at least like expected minutes and kind of bench starter for if it's more of a one-on-one type trade like that. No.
Montrez. Where was Montrez? Clippers? No.
Montrez, was he the
Is he?
Wizards?
Oh, really?
Last play
Montrez.
for Rockets? No, I'm sorry. He's 76ers, right.
Let's look at his salary cap here. Sixers. Oh, yeah, that's right. Wow, he's a vet mid?
Yep.
Amazing.
He didn't play much in the playoffs.
Oh, man. He's not going to play much in our squad. Unless he takes he could take the JaMychal role.
Yeah, not much of a shooter, more of a low post scorer, which is interesting. The question is about his defense. I'd give him a shot at event min. It's not.
Let's look at his stats.
I honestly, if we're talking about names, Amy mentioned Marquise Chris. I'm hoping we get Iguodala and Wanti.
Who?
Juan Toscano Anderson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's
someone
I would love to bring back. I'd love to bring back.
He's not a shooter. You're right. He's not.
Yeah.
Wow. That sucks. That's not going to work. Not in our system.
All right.
Corner three, you have to be able to hit corner three because Steph and Klay are on the other side of the court running the action off of Draymond, and they're going to get the attention, and then you got to be open in the corner. You got to hit that.
Yeah. And the thing about that is since he's not much of a shooter, if we were to play him, it'd be, and he's not the best defensive big, it'd be probably when both Draymond and Loon are out of the game. So I'm not saying it can't work, but yeah. Mike Muscala is interesting. He's 6'10" and is a shooter in Boston. I think it's a team option for $3.5 million coming up next year.
That's okay. Muscala, there it is. $3.5 million, Boston. Oh man.
Yeah.
Check. That's cheap for a shooter like that.
Yeah.
So we don't. Yeah.
Definitely a guy I would be interested in.
Yeah.
If they don't pick up that team option, but it seems like it's for the Celtics. It's just a kind of a simple, low cost, high size and shooting. Having JaMychal back,
he missed a month, so
yeah. I think we overtaxed him as a veteran leader when he seems like he's been a little bit more of a journeyman. I mean that in a respectful way. Obviously, a guy's been able to play on a lot of different teams. But I have no problem bringing JaMychal Green back. No, in fact, I think everybody on the team underperformed at some point pretty heavily, except maybe Steph in the playoffs. But even then, it was a little discombobulated, which means that our underperforming discombobulated team did as well as the Embiid Sixers have ever done. And that's losing the second round. So let's just have a little perspective here too. Like we're not. Let's get Giannis. Absolutely. I would love to have Giannis. Not going to happen unless Giannis demands a trade to the Warriors. So.
Wait, you said had ever done? Sixers have gone to the
to the Embiid Sixers
during the Embiid era.
Yeah. Oh, I know about the '83 Sixers, man. That team lost one game.
You know about every team that won the finals ever. Let's see.
I like Taj Gibson. He's like 38, but I like him.
Taj Gibson. We're at the 3:15:30 mark. Okay. How old is he?
He's old. He's like 38 or something years old, I think.
You skipped Moritz Wagner.
Oh, who said that? Mo.
Sean Alexander. Take a look at Orlando's salary cap table. Boom.
Oh, he's
Wagner. Doesn't he want to stick around as bro? Franz.
I mean, maybe not.
Yeah. Go to a winner.
Yeah, I like him. He's 37 years and 360 days old, according to Basketball Reference here. Taj Gibson. Mo Wagner.
KJ Martin. Oh, gosh. Yeah, but something else to say about Mo?
I guess I didn't even think he'd really be available.
It's not KJ Martin. It's KJ. Kenyon Martin Jr. KJ.
Oh, yeah.
Threw me off. But yeah, I guess KJ Martin. All right. Kenyon KJ Martin Jr. Wait a minute. He's a young buck on Houston. Why would Houston get rid of him?
Yeah.
It's not a good deal for Houston. You want to keep that guy. Look at that. Oh, he's under contract. No.
They have Ty Jerome on here, too.
Oh, look this up, guys. Before you throwing out names, at least do a little bit of homework.
Wait, where's his
He's not even available.
Oh, Houston, yeah. No, they're going to pick that up.
Under $2 million. It's already guaranteed.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Blake Griffin's available? Yeah, I guess so, huh? Boston wouldn't have been stupid enough to have him longer. Yeah, comes off the books. Yeah. Okay, is Blake Griffin a fit for the Warriors?
I don't know. A lot of these guys are. I mean, like, I get the idea, and I like, I've talked about Derrick Rose or Joe Ingles or something like that, who are a little older too. They're 34 or 35. So I guess I get it, but oh yeah, Warriors.
Yeah, Joaquin. Speaking of which, I sent a package out to Joaquin, man. Oh man, I can't wait till he gets it. But I got to plug in my phone to see what I got for Joaquin. Hang on. Man, I'm running out of power cords here. Go ahead, Dean. I'm going to do a restroom break and then look up Joaquin's giveaway package that I sent out.
Okay. Your birthday is the day of the draft. You'll cry if GSW picked up Blake Griffin. No, it's not that big of a deal. it's not like we'd have to give up all that much to get him, Sean. So I won't worry too much about it. So I guess one thing about a positive about Blake Griffin would be that, he does seem to be a pretty solid veteran leader. The couple on Brooklyn and Detroit or Detroit, Brooklyn, and most recently Boston. But I don't know. I just maybe I'm not feeling it quite as much as some other people, but I'm also kind of not against it. So, yeah, that's mostly what it is. The 4th month. Huh. All right, RJ. Good luck, my man. That's cool. Yeah, I agree, Joaquin. Oh, what do you guys think about having Iguodala back next year? Because I'd really like that. I think I know he doesn't play as much and everything, but I think he's such an important leader for the team, and such a great teacher for the young fellows that we have and everything. That I almost am hoping that he takes over for Udonis Haslem in that kind of role. Every finals the Heat have ever made, Udonis Haslem so far has been on that team. Every finals the Warriors have made since the 1970s, since 1975, Andre Iguodala's been on the team. And I guess it feels like he's been playing since 1975 sometimes, but I think it's really important. Yeah, great mentor for Kuminga. Yes, absolutely. Sure.
Oh, and on Iguodala, when he's healthy, oh my gosh! And I know he's only going to play like 15 minutes max in any game. But he can really, when he's 100%, wow, he can really stop guys.
Yes, he still has those mitts, man. He's still got the baseball gloves for hands, I just think he should stop dunking, that's all.
Yeah, no more dunking. Yeah, I think that will be a joke in the locker room, and he'll get the message.
Yeah, like the Klay 77. They'll give him a jersey that says "Don't dunk," number 9.
So I think maybe Thursday we'll reintroduce giveaways.
Ooh, let's go.
All right.
Sunny and heavy rain again.
All right, we got through everything. Amazing. I came back. I was thinking, oh, you know what we got to do? I never even did the Instagram post, and we went like 3 hours. Oh, so man. let me do a screenshot right now. Cool. Oh, a little late, and we're about to log off. But oh well, at least I can do a late one.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm horrible at social media.
Not to me, you're not, Rich.
So I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gotta wait for the old MacBook to process the screenshot. There we go. All right. So too bad, oh, you're working all night. Are you working all night Thursday, or can we have you on at the beginning? We're starting at 4:45.
It's basically when I have to leave to get to work.
Shucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try and be on the chat as much as I can until I start. I'm sure it'll go through my lunch breaks and stuff.
Do the Warriors trade their draft pick? We actually talked about that. So look in the description for a timestamp, or you can wait till we're done. I'm going to copy. There's actually more timestamps that didn't fit in the description. You only get like 5,000 characters in the description. So in the comments, I'll have the timestamps, and you can look at when we talked about should they trade their pick. The short answer is if you trade up, just remember that you're going to have to pay more salary for a higher pick. And plus, those are – I just don't see them trading up. And then short answer is trading down is a possibility, as Eric mentioned.
Well, to trade down, you don't really need to give up quite as much, I think, assets maybe as to trade up.
Oh, boy. Trey Lyles, what team is he on? Minnesota? What is that?
Minnesota.
No, that's slow-mo. Trey Lyles is –
Trey Lyles, Minnesota, too. Sounds right.
Let's see. I don't see him on there. It's Kyle Anderson. We're mixing them up.
Oh, it's the Kings. That's right.
Yeah, I knew we played them in the playoffs. I was thinking, what a playoff team did we play? Kings, of course.
Right.
I remember reading somewhere he likes it there. But anyway, is that a minimum? Yeah, that's minimum. Okay, Trey Lyles.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. Well, not if we have Iguodala though, because then that's a repeat, and then that takes away we still do need a big, right? A backup, deep on the bench, big.
I mean, yeah. I think we just need size at positions more than a big necessarily.
Right. Let's see.
He didn't retire yet, Ethan.
We talked about Derek Lively. All right. Cool. So see you Thursday. Again, awesome. Let me just put that back up there. It's a good thing there's not a whole lot else going on, guys. We're able to just cover every nook and cranny. Except I can't find the next live one. So Aloha is on Twitch. What's up? I saw that. He didn't like the Jaylen Brown trade idea. Oh, well.
Sorry.
Aloha, I've not gotten to your emails. The ones, the recent giveaway type emails, haven't gotten to those. I have to scroll down through my Gmail for that. Next live is Thursday at, I'm going to say 4:45 p.m. That's a good time. Be sure to tune in. Thanks, Nicole.
Yes, sir. Happy birthday, Sean.
Sean's birthday. All right. Thank you, Amy. Oh, I got to screenshot that. Ready, Dean? Smile. There we go. Thank you, Amy and Nicole. And
yes, thank you very much, ladies. Always great to have you on.
All right, then we'll see what happens on Thursday.
Yeah.
The draft is so exciting. I mean,
it is.
Number one pick. Congratulations, Ryan B., Spurs fan, but comes on here because he respects the Warriors.
Yes, sir.
You're going to get Wemby, Ryan. Oh, my God.
That's what they say, yeah.
And Ryan, I've got a prize going to you as well. So we'll be in touch on that.
I was going to get two prizes, I guess.
Oh, man. That's
unbelievable.
Nice.
Pop.
It's so many things happening on draft night, and we'll have you in the comments, right?
Yes, as much as I can. Yeah.
So Wemby, and then does Brandon Miller? Is it Brandon Miller or Brandon?
Yeah, Brandon Miller.
Brandon Miller. Does he go to Charlotte, or does Charlotte go for Scoot Henderson? Because Scoot is definitely better than Brandon, but positionally they've already.
Oh, I have to say this. I think it's very obvious that Charlotte should just draft Scoot Henderson.
Right.
For what? And then Brandon Miller is big enough to play alongside Dame. So
yeah, Just
let's
do
not
it.
make this overly complicated.
But it's Charlotte, so.
Well, Mike,
and,
my man, Michael Jordan.
Then the third pick goes to Portland, and it's so intriguing what they're going to do with that because Dame wants to win now, and the GM has said, "Yeah, we get it. We're gonna try and win now." Oh man, so much drama, and that's only the first 3 picks.
Yes,
So,
yeah, and they said the draft really starts at 4, in terms of it seems like those 3 are locked in.
And then with the new CBA, they're talking about more trades this season before the new CBA kicks in, so you could see a lot happening. This could be the most exciting NBA draft ever. You never know.
It's
mainly because of the CBA.
But it's positioned to be a very deep draft with all that going on. And
that's one thing that I think the Warriors should just stay put, because it's a deep draft. You're going to get somebody pretty good at 19 that normally – we didn't talk about it with Eric, but he's told me that next year's draft, meh. I think the one after that, 2 of them are meh, and then the 3 years from now, that one's going to be deep again. That kind of thing. I forget exactly where. I can check his DMs later and let you know on that. I'll be sure to do my homework and read through all of me and Eric's communication to be ready for Thursday. Plus, we got all the notes in the description of we could refer back to this live stream to go, oh, who did we pick? Oh, we talked about that with Eric on Monday. Yeah. It's going to be like that. Mm-hmm. All right. Appreciate you all. Thank you, RJ.
Is there anyone in the draft that you like particularly other than Wembanyama or Scoot or someone,
Me?
You just without the Warriors, or just guy you watched that you really like?
I haven't done any homework this year on that because I kind of knew I could get away with it in terms of – because we're so far down the list on 19. If we were single digits or even top 10, 11, just Eric G was saying, Lively could go as high as 11 or something. He was saying 10, 11. Yeah. Then, and if we had the number 11 pick or even number 12, then I would really – no, if we were lottery, I'd have to do all that extra homework. Right. So I really knew the draft when we drafted Kuminga and Moody.
Yeah.
This year, just circumstances, some of it out of my control, just kind of I moved, so things happen, and there was, didn't have to really go that deep on it. So Kris Murray, Sean is mentioning, we mentioned him before. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I don't really have a favorite. So I'm a little bit more unbiased this year than ever. And also I've learned over the years not to fall in love with a guy, because then you're if the Warriors don't pick him, then it becomes a thing with you in your mind. I trust the Warriors, and I'm really excited for whoever it is. I'm literally I really don't care. Whoever you pick, I'm going to trust you guys did the homework. Dunleavy and Kent Lacob and all the rest of them.
Definitely.
And I'm more excited to learn why we are going to pick who we pick. It's kind of understanding that. And then the next day, Friday, Dunleavy will take the podium again. We'll get a whole bunch more information. Yeah. I'm just at that point where I just want to absorb information. And that's going to really show a lot on Thursday. And not only that, this year's so special because we're going to absorb information that has to do with the CBA. All these experts like Keith Smith, and the list goes on, Bobby Marks.
Yeah,
they're going to go on Twitter as the draft is happening. There'll be a trade, and then they're going to say, oh, they did this trade because they needed to do this year because the CBA is changing. And we're going to learn so much more. It might be overwhelming on Thursday, quite honestly. So prepare to learn. It's going to be crazy on Thursday. I think it'll be the best draft ever.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's set up with all the environment around it is set up for it to be incredible on Thursday.
So I'm looking forward to seeing you in the comments. Barring your job responsibilities, obviously, but
Right.
it's going to be great to hear you chime in, and it should be a pretty damn awesome chat.
I hope so, man. I'm sure this chat will be awesome.
It's gonna be. I won't be able to manage it. I'm gonna be skipping it. I'm gonna rely on the. Now that I'm thinking about it more, you blue wrenches. Oh man, you're gonna have your work cut out for you on Thursday. Bruce, Amy, and Nicole, and Hope. By the way, I should hit up Anthony. Anthony, if you're still there.
Yes.
I'm going to need your help on Thursday if you can come on the live Thursday, Anthony. Just react to the draft with us. All right. Thanks,
And then
guys.
after that is Summer League, baby. Let's go. Basketball never stops.
Yeah. Joaquin is mentioning PBJ. Just July 3rd, PBJ will be playing in Sacramento.
Yep, I believe it.
Even if Moody and Kuminga don't play, I don't know. I don't know if they are or not. But just have PBJ and Rollins and Guy Santos.
Yeah.
I mean, we're back to squad. This is our squad.
Yeah,
These are our boys. July 3rd.
Yeah.
All right, Dean. Thanks, man. Once again,
Thank you,
you were on here for 3 hours and 35 minutes with me. That's insane.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, man.
Yep. And thank you, Eric G. That was awesome.
Yeah, Eric G was so much information. Go look in the description. Tons of information.
Yeah.
And I always try and look at things just from the other side, and it's just like from a point of abundance again, not lack. And dude, I'm actually am pretty it's pretty awesome that you came up with that trade idea. Granted, I wouldn't do it because I'm such a Wiggins and Kuminga fan that I just couldn't do it, and I'm not that high on Jalen. But I'm so glad that you brought that up because it's like add a little twist.
To
everything. Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Hey, man, when you let people be comfortable and not create an environment of fear or reprisal or something, it just in the end it's harder, but it's so much more fun. If I had said that one day on Twitter, people have been like, "Yeah, Bob Myers doesn't know what he's doing." The other day, be like, "You're an idiot!" Like literally the next day, the very next day, But here it's like, oh well, let's think about it.
Yeah,
it's not about the position in the minutes,
and then we can think it through. Whereas on Twitter, you can't even think things through. You only get 280 characters. You can't
even if you had more than that, people wouldn't let you do it. They want it.
Yeah.
So thank you, Rich, for listening to that, and for just being so cool, man. Thank you.
You too, man. All right, everybody. Time to say Justice 1, 2, 3. Justice. Steph Curry.
Yep.
Game 4 type deal. Night. Oh my gosh, it's 9:44 p.m. Night. My parents are wondering why I'm still on. I told them the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
Double. All right, guys. See you on Thursday.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be so great.
Go Warriors.